the Drift Masters European Championship. It is round 5 in Ferropolis, and we are about to get into our top 16. The crowd is going absolutely wild here. We've got the Mexican wave going, but who I have with me right now is FD sensation Odi Bakshis, driver of the V8 S15, which is one of the loudest cars I've ever heard in my life. Odi, welcome to Drift Masters. I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of the event so far?
Well, this is a wild venue. This is like a freaking theme park. You got the beach, you got the crazy loud and energetic fans. It's definitely a pleasure to be here.
And the competition is so tight this round. I mean, every single round it heats up, but right here the drivers are so close together.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been watching, since practice, and these guys are on it. And what's cool to see is that you have drivers that historically might have not been at the top, but it looks like in different venues like this where it's really tight, they're like coming out and shining. So it's definitely tough competition, man. These guys got to battle hard.
And now we've got to talk about that shock exit of Jack Shanahan in top 32. A young driver, Itay, taking him out. But how close is it down to the margin? I mean, he missed outer zone 4, and that's what clinched it.
Yeah, there's so many outer zones here. If you're not committed and jamming into these zones, I think that's it. And yeah, it's tough. Like the Shanahans, they drive cars that don't have a lot of overhang, right? So you put it in the wall too deep, and that could be the end of your day, but you don't put it deep enough, and it's a fine line.
What do you think of our cars, our fans? I mean, I always love this comparison because FD is so huge, and you come here and it's so much more tighter and technical.
Well, this event's special, and I'm glad I visited this one because you have Iron Drift King and Drift Master, so you have, 120 drivers or so. I don't think I had the chance to look at every single car, but there's crazy carbon Kevlar Volvos, S chassis, what I'm used to seeing, and BMWs just all over the place. So yeah, it's an absolute blast walking around the pits.
Well, Odi, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, we are going to get into the action of our top 16. Get ready, it's going to be a big one. The sun has set, which means the conditions are changing. So I'm going to hand it up to the guys in the tower, Dave Egan and Ian Waddington. Boys, take it away.
Thanks, Becky, and once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the craziest drift event you've seen anywhere in the world this year. Yes, it is a flooded quarry, which has created an island in the middle of Germany, and we're now using it as a drift track. And tonight it's going to separate some of the best drivers in the world from each other. Already today we've seen shock exits, upsets, and the championship fight blown wide open. Top 16 drivers came out for a parade in front of a very energetic fan base here in Germany, but they are made up from 23 different countries because that's how many are represented on the grid. My name is Dave Egan. I'll be talking you through all the action alongside my friend Ian Waddington. Ian, this is going to be a tough one. Judges already starting to get a little pensive about how close the battles are going to be.
Yeah, they certainly are getting a little bit pensive, and they're getting nervous, Dave. They was out there a minute ago, the group of us just chatting outside of our working environment, and they were saying this is going to be tight. Top 32, really a normal event. I say normal, like one of the tracks we've traditionally been to in the past. They say that there's a lot of frills and spills. There's a lot of things that happen that kind of separate the battles, where here they're splitting hairs because they've never had a qualifying session like they did yesterday, where 21 drivers qualified with a 90-plus score. So every single driver is on their A game. I went and chatted with Jack Shanahan, and he said, it was my mistake. I know it was my mistake. And I know, he said, that if you are not on that A game today, this weekend, he said, you have got no chance of getting a podium.
That's it, top of the championship, out in top 32 stage, meaning his brother Conor Shanahan can gain ground. Lauri, Heinonen, Juha, Rintanen, Duane, McKeever, and even Piotr Wiecek can all gain ground. But who will be in that top 3 or 4 as we head to the biggest drift event of all time in Poland in a couple of weeks? We're about to find out here tonight. 2 hours was all it takes from your hopes and dreams being alive to being completely dead. But I'll tell you what, we're about to kick it off. The fans are ready, the marshals are ready, the judges are ready. We hope you guys are ready. That guy is definitely ready. It's time to head to the top 16. Well, here we are in Ferropolis. It is Germany. It is round 5, the penultimate round of the championship. And we kick it off with a big heavyweight battle. the man that fought his way through as a wild card. Arne Kvia, well, not only was he a wild card, but he topped qualifying. He goes head-to-head with the Portuguese sensation Diogo Correia. The track conditions have changed dramatically from blistering heat now to cooler temperatures. Grip levels will be different, the track will feel different, but the one thing that will stay the same is how intense the driving is going to be. It is the first battle of our top 16. Correia will line up a car length or two back, knowing the speed of Kvia here, and there is no room for error, no margin closer than this championship right now. This top 16 is what it's all about. Can you get to the top step? And for those in the championship hunt, can they stay in that championship hunt as the difficult conditions here creep on? Ian, this is what it's all about. This is why we watch the sport. The best of the business going head to head, and all we got to do is sit back and enjoy the show. Marson gives the word, they slot into gear. It's green lights are going, Drift Masters, and here we are at the top 16.
Yeah, these guys are off through the gears, no messing around. Kvia, your top qualifier here at round 5, wants to get the job done and wants to win, but Correia has been on the podium already this season and he's not going to go down without a fight. But look at this from Kvia, already on that perfect qualifying line, but Correia makes a brave dive. Up to the wall he goes, flame erupts from the back end of the wall. So now Correia once again makes a brave transition, trying to put it to the door of the Norwegian sledgehammer across the line.
Well, that's how you kick off a top 16. Correia's pumped, Kvia's pumped. Correia knows he gave it absolutely everything. Out of zone 4, I thought he was going in the wall. He stayed out of the wall. Then the flames erupted from the wall, and you said, what is going on right now? You don't even need to know. It's just exciting. Just sit back. It's provocative. It's just, it is what it is. But Correia comes in here early. He initiates before Kvia gets up onto the door, knowing Kvia has that 98-point run in the bag. He knows he can trust him, and he does. He leans on him through the first 2 outer zones. And Correia's brave here, but this is for me is the bravest move of the run. Correia dives down the inside, and look at this late transition, goes on big angle. I think he's going in the wall. Just bounces off it and stays in the mix. And look how cool that looks as the flames are up behind outer zone 4. Look how crazy that looks from inside the car of Diogo Correia. There's tire smoke, there's body panels going everywhere, there's flames erupting from the walls. This is why Drift Masters is so exciting. And right now it looks to me like Kvia's got some work to do when we switch this one around.
Yeah, he certainly has, Dave. As you can see there, Correia comes across the line absolutely pumped because he knew that he had to stick it to the door of Kvia. He's not slow. Kvia's very fast around this circuit, and he's coming in come this weekend with the intention of winning because he has no championship points. It doesn't matter to him whether he wins or loses. There is nothing in it for him this season apart from this event. If he walks away this weekend, top place qualifier, top step on the podium, that's a statement, and he'll come back next year, and he's already said it. If he wins this event, he's coming back next year with a new program, and he means business.
Well, you win the event and come back and win the championship. That's the plan for Kvia. But Diogo Correia is sitting in the car going, that's a nice little plan. You won't have much of it after the next 40 seconds because I'm going to take you out. Correia knows he's got a good lead run in him as well. He's got a big angle style too. Kvia is going to have to watch that on entry as Kvia knows he has to go close. Every driver I spoke to in the top 16 said, you're either on it today or you're going home. They break into that first corner as Correia goes hot into outer zone 1. Kvia climbs up onto the door. Kvia now starts to reel him in as Correia goes right to the edge of the track, rubbing the bumper on that E92 all along. As now Kvia starts to bring the fight. Big proximity, Kvia. He goes up to the front wheel. This is dangerous for Kvia, but he stays in it and gets away with it. Correia, though, on a monster of a lead run, allowing Kvia up onto the door, wheel to wheel, as they go across the line. That is how you kick off a top 16.
Wow. That was unbelievable. Look at the crowd's face. They cannot believe, Dave, what they just witnessed. That was insanity from Correia and Kvia. There was nothing left out there. They put it all on the track. There was not an inch left in that chase from Kvia. He put the wheel on the door in more spots on that circuit than I've seen so far today.
That's what it's all about. Two drivers going head-to-head, mano a mano. Norway versus Portugal. That's why this is the Drift Masters European Championship. We call it the Champions League of Drifting because each of these are national champions in their own right. Portuguese champion versus Norwegian champion. And for me, Correia just unwound a little bit outside of outer zone 1, but he gets on it super fast after there. And I think allowing Kvia a little bit back into the battle there, and the proximity to me looked to be a little bit more consistent from Kvia over the run. However, Correia's lead run is exciting, is fluid. This is what it's all about. It's going to be so tough to divide these drivers all the way through the competition tonight.
It certainly is, Dave, but as you say, look at this from Kvia. It was the brave moves, it was the wheel-on-wheel transitions for me, but Correia's lead was phenomenal when he's so balanced. Look at him in the car, he's absolutely dialed. There was no more that either of those drivers could have done in that battle. They literally pushed to the edge and passed. Well, here we go, Dave, decisions in.
Decisions dropping in. Who's going to the top 8? It's going to be Arne Kvia getting the win. And even he shrugs his shoulder as he's not too sure how he's done it. But we're going to talk to our head judge, Kevin O'Connell, to ask exactly how he did it. And it looked to me like it was that proximity in the end that was the difference maker.
He did it by absolutely driving phenomenally, Dave. Like, look at that chase run. That's what it really all came down to. Fantastic proximity the whole way throughout, matching the line and angle of Correia the whole way throughout as well. So when you compare lead to lead, both of them had very similar lead runs. So realistically, it all came down to the proximity and that chase. And look at him. He was matching angle and that proximity the whole way throughout. So that's the kind of driving that we want to see in this chase position.
Well, the judges have laid it down. That's what they want to see. If you ain't touching wheels and doors, you're going home.
I mean,
and
look,
I said Correia did a great job in his chase run, but Kvia just brought that extra heat.
And it just goes to show you that a man, even on their best day, like Correia was, can still get taken down, because there's always one guy out there that will push that little bit more. We move it on to the next battle. It will be Kevin Pesur to take on Adam Zalewski. Look at Zalewski. He's waiting to pull up to the line. He doesn't want to look across and see Kevin Pesur. He wants to leave him hanging.
Adam Zalewski's rear wheels are nearly in the lake.
He's not going for it. If he goes from a run-up from there, Dave, hold on, because he might end up in the next town. I think he's going to just hold back and let Kevin Pesur think maybe there's a bit of a problem there. Here we go. They get the lights, and look at this already. Zalewski starts to creep forward. Maybe he is going to go for a run-up this big, Dave. I think he is. I think you're right. I think he's going to go for a huge run-up. They get the thumbs up all round, and now Zalewski starts to creep in on Kevin Pesur. The light goes green. Pesur through the gears, and up and away he goes. But look at this from Zalewski. He knows he needs to be on the inside and down. Big initiation from Kevin Pesur on a very straight line approach. Shadow angle from Zalewski, but he's on the rear wheel. He knows where he needs to be. Now a little separation opens up as Kevin Pesur applies the pressure, applies the throttle, puts the back end of the BMW to the wall. Zalewski now finds the side of that BMW, but he's shallow once again, and he can't hang with Pesur. Pesur's got the grip across the line.
I'm going to have to take a quick look at that first corner again. Not sure what happened there. Was Pesur a little bit shallow to cause Zalewski's mistake, or was Zalewski's mistake his own mistake? I still find it absolutely bizarre that Kevin Pesur's car is actually an M2.
Whoa.
It is actually an M2. Yes, on E46.
It's actually
sorry, no, sorry, it's an E46.
Okay, come on, you've ruined everyone's dream.
I know, look at this. Zalewski goes up onto the door.
It's very shallow though, Dave. The angle for me, you know, look, we've just spoke about it, and Kevin O'Connell said if you're not matching the angle with the proximity, then you're kind of knocking yourself out of the battle, and he does it multiple times.
Yes, I thought maybe it might have been an issue with Pesur, but it didn't seem to be. It looked to me like Zalewski just kind of got caught on the inside of the track and had to kind of straighten up. He went on the left foot brake, went on the handbrake. Yeah, just an interesting development there. And I think, to be honest, after that, Zalewski is being really aggressive. I think he knows he's made a little bit of an error on that first corner, so he's trying to make up for that. And he does a great job from there on the chase. The proximity is great from Adam Zalewski. Pesur's lead run, though, as expected, very, very solid. An exceptional drive from both of these guys. But it just comes down to those fine margins. And we're trying to find those little nuances, those little moments that the judges are almost hunting for.
Yeah.
To say that's going to separate these two guys. And that's hard on a night like tonight to find that. And as I said before, just to clarify, it is an E46 with a full M2 and M2 rear end. I was trying to... Me and Ian had an argument about this yesterday.
I don't know if Kevin Pesur is going to like you calling him out.
I'm saying he knows it's an E46,
yeah,
but it looks
knows,
it's the coolest looking E46 I've ever seen.
He might tell everyone in the paddock it's an F22 BMW 2 Series.
Well, have a look at
So here we go, we're off the line anyway. Second half of the run, Zalewski to lead him out. Look at Pesur already on the back wheel, forcing Zalewski to go wide, pushing him to the outside zone. Now Pesur makes a little error on that initiation down, but he starts to work himself back in. He's turning the screw. Zalewski into the wall, up into the outside zone, and Kevin Pesur on the front wheel, matching the angle, matching the proximity. And look at this as Kevin Pesur almost makes contact, goes for it once again, dials on the angle, gets him across the line.
And that's what Kevin Pesur needed to do. Brought all the fight, all the aggression. He came in there knowing that Zalewski is a top-level driver, ex-European champion. There is no way of beating him unless you go that close, and that's what he did. He went close everywhere on the circuit. On the first corner, again, they have a little moment where they're trying to settle themselves. It looks to be difficult for the drivers there to understand the decel in the car.
Yeah.
He came in super aggressive. Watch this. So he
Almost
initiates on the back wheel, which is, you know, a rare move we've seen tonight. He gets him on the inside of the track while Zalewski goes to the edge of the track. Pesur does manage that aggression and stays stays within, you know, a meter or two of the lead car. And you can see Zalewski again locking those front wheels.
Yeah, big break there in that outside zone, Dave.
Just to get the rear end of the car. And again, you know, we heard Odi Bocci's at the top of the show saying it is tough for these GT86 drivers to actually make an impact because they're so close to the wall with the rear end that the rear wheel, you know, you could hit it and cause yourself, you know, complete mechanical failure.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line, but both of these guys having a fun time getting out of the car, congratulating each other, and Zalewski and Pesur, these are two massive stars in this championship right now, always bringing incredible A-game runs. But who's going to the top 8? It's Kevin Pesur from Estonia. Kevin gets the win and goes through. Zalewski congratulates his opponent. And Kevin Pesur, I mean, he's on a roll this year as he moves through to another top 8.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's on fire, Dave. And you know, I think he's finally found his form in the Drift Masters European Championship. He came in as a bit of an unknown entity, and me and you kind of question a lot of these guys' capabilities when they first turn up to the championship. But I think Kevin Pesur took a few rounds, you know, felt the competition out, but then the Estonian champion really just kind of flicked the switch on and said, it's time to party. It's no more sitting in the background trying to be part of the team. It's trying to get in there and fight. And we're talking about fights, Dave, this one on the line.
This is a big fight because Michael Reichert on Dream Street, he now goes up to against a familiar opponent in Piotr Wiecek. Piotr Wiecek has to be perfect now if he stands even a slim chance of retaining his championship, of becoming the first ever three-time champion of Drift Masters. He's fighting from way in the back, but he has seen Jack Shanahan go out. He's watched that everyone else that's ahead of him in the championship is on the other side of the bracket. Now he's got a very capable Michael Reichert against him, but Wiecek has to press the go button now if he wants to get back in this fight, and he is off the line flying right now.
Yeah, look at this as Więcek's dialed in the car, dialed in the grip, and look at the dive from Michal Reichert as he absolutely nails it to the door, but now he gets left with a little bit of thinking to do as he almost takes the back end off of Więcek's car and the front off of his on that transition. Więcek is on an absolute fly. This is fast from Więcek. Reichert is dangerously, desperately trying to make dives at Więcek, but I don't think he can pin it to him, and he can't. He has no answer.
That's tough going for Michael Reichert because the pace is tough to match, and even off the line, Więcek went into that first corner, I think, faster than anybody else and made it work, which obviously shocked Michael Reichert into some desperate dives, as you made attention to. Look, for me, Więcek right now, he's had a frustrating season. He's been in the position now where his car has let him down. He hasn't, he's made an error here or there, and everyone does. You know, you even saw Jack Shanahan make that error. You can lose a battle. You can go in the top 32. In a championship season, it's going to happen at some point. You're not perfect. These are only human people. But at the end of the day, his car has let him down 2 other rounds. So from that perspective, for me, Więcek is thinking, is the car going to stay together? Is this my night? Will I get back into the mix? And he's keeping one eye, even though he won't admit it, on the other side of the bracket, saying, if it all goes to plan and all of those championship contenders get knocked out early, well, I'm back in the mix here. But he has to go through Michael Reichert. And I think from this perspective, in the lead position, half the job done for Piotr Wiecek. Perfect lead run. Reichert, you know, he's there and thereabouts, but it's not perfection. He leaves a lot on the table for Wiecek now to go at him.
Yeah, he certainly did. And you know what? He asked Michal Reichert the question, you know, if you want to be at the best and the top end of this championship and battle with me as a champion and you know, defending champion, can you carry this pace? Can you hang at this speed? And I think Michal Reichert was surprised. They're back on the line, ready to go. And Piotr Wiecek slots that car into gear. Reichert to lead out Więcek for a spot in the Grade 8 awaits. They fire through, and look at this. Więcek already more angle, more flare as he dials it on. And Reichert fires on that big angle initiation. I don't know if it's worked for him, as now Więcek gives him some room to manoeuvre, looks for him in that outside zone, and you can see Reichert wandering and wavering in that long outside zone. He transitions, it's going to be an over-rotation, he holds onto it, and Więcek avoids contact, but that is a huge error for Michal Reichert, and that is one way to take yourself out of a competition here.
Oh, the minute he'd spun in front of him, Więcek knew what was up there. He knew that that's not going to win you a battle, but it looks like there's a massive flame from the back of Piotr Więcek's car.
I think that the crew have given that car all the sauce for tonight.
All of the sauce. Turned it up to 11 this weekend. Why not at this stage of the competition? How does Więcek enter so early? He almost does a better lead or chase line than the lead line in towards outer zone 1. And Reichert has issues from there on in, and then it's not going to matter really. Once he got to the spin towards the end of the run, that was all she wrote. Even if he hadn't, I think Więcek had probably done enough. One thing that Więcek will just have to look at is this chase here. His car looks super gripped up, and he kind of went on a shallow angle. It's just difficult to keep that car moving behind a car that's on the left foot brake. So it's just something they're going to have to look at. Look at these shots, though. Incredible stuff from Więcek and Reichert. But then Więcek will know right here, that's way too much Reichert in front of me. And he'll know straight away as he backed off that Reichert's made an irreversible error.
Yeah, there was no way of getting out of that for Reichert. He was desperately just trying to throw that car on angle to try and upset Więcek in the chase, and it just didn't pay off. And that's not what the judges wanted either as the lead car to do. Decisions in, Dave.
Yeah, decisions in. It's going to be an easier one than most for the judges. Piotr Wiecek gets the win and goes through to our top 8. It's been a while since he's been in the top 8, which is very unusual to say about Piotr Wiecek, but he'll be delighted that luck is starting to change.
Yeah, and you know, every step he takes forward in competition, there'll be more points.
So we have Becky Evans down on track with Piotr Wiecek. The curse is broken, Becky. He's in the top 8. Luck is coming his way, finally.
Luck indeed, Dave. Peter, what was that like coming round out of zone 3 and suddenly seeing Michael Reichert come in front of the car? It's not exactly where he was supposed to be at that point in time.
Yeah, it's there was a lot of new things to be honest for me in my lead run. Then I remind myself that there will be fireworks, so there was a lot of new things, let's say, and then Michael made a mistake. Unfortunately for him, I just tried to stay safe behind him after and not to hit him and cause any damage for my team. So just so we can enjoy the top 8, first time in here, so it's an achievement for us. So yeah, fingers crossed and let's move forward.
We have to ask the question. You will have been keeping an eye on the bracket in top 32. Obviously, Jack going out, not ideal, but has it rehashed your hopes of getting towards the top spot? You're nodding your head. You're like, yes, I know.
Yes, I know. And no, I'm not. I'm trying not to starting any calculations. And the calculator is laying somewhere deep down in the camper van. So I won't take it out for this competition. We're just here to push hard, and we need to push hard because the competition, everybody here are doing the same. So yeah, fingers crossed it's going to be good in the end, simply.
Thank you, Peter. There you go, guys. The calculator is back in the camper van.
Yeah, well, you're not going to find one in here either, because obviously Ian and I,
you can't use
we can't even use it. We can't even turn one on.
We've got 4 robots next to us, though, so they'll
I'm
do
sure
the
their machines are running. So we move it along. Więcek through to the top 8. We run on to another big battle. Kevin Piskolty, Oliver Randalu. 2 guys that shone for different reasons so far this weekend. Piskolty with the big 97. Incredible lead run. However, Randalu, I think, had the standout chase run of the top 32. Let's see what happens when we stack them both up together here in the top 16. Both of these guys are going to be confident, and they're also going to be in a situation where they think they can take the other one out. Randalu hasn't been on the podium for quite some time, since Ireland 2022. That's a long time ago. Piskolty hasn't been there yet.
That's what I was going to say, Dave. Piskolty yet to find the podium. He almost top qualifying yesterday. He was just 1 point away from it, and he'll want that podium. He'll want to feel what it feels like to get one of those trophies. He's off and down. Big initiation from Piskolty. He's going for speed. He's going for pace, but look at this from Randalu. He's not letting Piskolty get away. As he dials on the angle, they fire across the circuit. Randalu knows he can't let Piskolty get away, but there was a big mistake from Piskolty in the outside zone as he transitions back. Piskolty goes for the wall, but Randalu is painted all down the side of that E92 BMW. There is no escaping the Estonian.
No, I think Randalu's dialed this track in. I think he's figured his chase driving out. He's so aggressive, and even though Piskolty made some errors in the lead, it didn't make any difference. Randalu was not going away. He was there from start to finish. And Oliver Randalu, to me, if I've watched anything today, has figured out how to be a really good chase driver on this track. And I think he's in a risky zone, but he's pulling it off.
He certainly is in a risky zone, and he is pulling it off, though, Dave, because look at these moves he made on Kevin Piskolty. And you know what? Piskolty is never a driver to really turn your nose up at, because on his day, any day, he can really lay it down. But right now, Oliver Randalu is putting him under pressure, and Oliver Randalu is saying to him, what have you got? And that was the big error from me. Going into outside zone 4, he struggled to get there, and he got in there 3/4 of the way through, Dave. It was not a nice move, and the judges will be absolutely pulling him apart for that.
Yeah, well, it's the first time we've watched Piskolty make any errors in the whole event, but it looks like to me he sat heavily on the left foot braking out of zone 4, and it actually slowed the car down to the point that he had to exit before he wanted to exit. A bit like you in a nightclub, Ian.
Yeah, I always go home early because I'm not a big drinker, so...
Yeah, so you had to leave...
I like the drink, I just can't handle it. That's the problem. That's where it's coming from.
It's a fine
Everyone's looking at me. You see, you're all Irish.
Yep.
You know, you can drink till the sun comes up.
But I tell you one thing, Kevin Piskolty, well, he's going to need some Dutch courage here, because I'll be honest with you, he needs to be very aggressive in this chase position, because that's how you get it done. Now, Oliver Randalu's getting the car cooled down a little bit. He's allowed that 2 minutes to get back to the start line. Looks like he's good to go. He's got to go for it here, Piskolty. The lead run wasn't perfect. Oliver Randalu's chase run was pretty much nigh on perfect. This is where Piskolty's being tested. He has to be aggressive, and it's not easy. But Randalu's been putting in solid lead runs. His spotter on the radio for Piskolty will say, Randalu's killing it in the lead position. No need to worry. You can go close here. You can take a risk.
He certainly can take a risk, but Piskolty won't let him get away with this one. He's going to want to hope that Randalu makes a mistake, but I don't know if Randalu is on that form today. Look at this nice initiation from Randalu as he comes down and contact as Piskolty pushes Randalu in the wall.
Yeah. Did he push him in the wall? Did Randalu slow up too much? On first glance, it looked to me like Piskolty may have come in too hot, but we will be able to see a replay and see what happens. A big hit for both drivers there. Let's hope they're both okay. They look okay. Luckily, they slowed a lot of the momentum out of the cars before the concrete, but the concrete does a lot of damage. You look at Randalu's car there, you might think, oh, it's a little bump. The wall doesn't move. Like in other venues, you might have a bit of wall that flexes or moves. It doesn't move here, so what is moving is anything behind that bumper in the car.
Now look at these two guys get out, and Piskolty straight away puts his thumbs up and says, are you okay? And they embrace each other, and you know what, that's more to them than anything, and Piskolty will be looking at the damage. In case he does you know, get the decision to go through, both guys will be straight on the radio to the spotter saying, look, we have some problems maybe. Piskolty looking at the front wheel of his car. So not sure what happened. There we go, here's the replay of this one. Down they come. I mean,
on initial viewing.
Do you know, I'm looking, Dave, and I'm going to say that Randalu, watch this, he's on the brakes, he's not accelerating, and
I'm not sure.
Do you know, there's no tyre smoke. I'm going to say that Randalu was still braking way, way after. Look at this, look, he's on the handbrake, still on the handbrake, he's on the handbrake. And by that point, look, he handbrakes again as the contact happens.
Well, he's handbraking as the contact happens because he's trying to stay out of the wall.
I think Randalu came in too hot.
Well, I'm not sure. If I'm looking at it again, it's a decel zone. Piskolty's got to watch the lead car.
But there's some point, Dave, you've got to get back on throttle.
He's on throttle after the zone, and then Piskolty hits him immediately, so he has to go back on the handbrake to stop hitting the wall. That's what I'm thinking. Once again, we're divided, so I can only imagine how the judges are discussing this.
I was just going to say, I wonder what everyone else's opinion is. I mean, look, the way I see it, Dave, from my point of view as a fan, look, me and you watch this as complete drift fans, because that's what we are. That is what we are. I'm seeing this as Randalu slowed too much, but I know you're on the other half of the fence.
Yeah,
you're over the other side of the fence throwing the football back saying, I think Piskolty came in too hot.
No, I think Piskolty came in and came in too hot and said, it's a decel zone for Randalu. He's got to, you know, adapt to the lead car.
Yeah.
And he didn't adapt to the lead car. He just plowed into him. That's how I see it. But then it doesn't matter what I see or you. We're split.
We are completely split.
Neither of our opinions make any sense or difference.
Sometimes they do.
Well, the odd time.
The odd time. Every now and then.
We've been watching Drift Masters all year. You know, we don't know much about anything. But what we do have is strong opinions.
Yeah, we do.
Backed up by very little information.
No knowledge.
So you can join us on that. And I'll tell you one thing. The judges are going to have a discussion on this. We haven't heard anything. But I do think, to me, you're thinking Randalu braked too much. I think Piskolty came in too hot. One of us is going to be right. One of us is going to be wrong. The judges inevitably are going to make the call. And
well, I hope they don't leave it to me and you.
Absolutely. It'd be some mess if we were judging this.
Mess. Here we go.
Let's see what happens. We're going to go to, it is Oliver Randalu getting the win and going through to the top 8. Kevin, I'm just going to quickly go back to you. Kevin, I was thinking Piskolty came in a little too hot there.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Dave. Piskolty came in a little bit too hot, a little bit offline as well, and Randalu was decelerating in his deceleration zone as well. That deceleration zone, as you saw from the track map at the start, starts from about approximately 3 meters before outer zone 1 and ends approximately 3 meters after that outer zone 1. So Randalu was completely within his rights to decelerate there. Unfortunately, Piskolty came in way too hot. Looks like he's having mechanical issues, and therefore he was to blame for the contact. And probably the best view to see this is on this drone footage. You can see Randalu slowing down using the handbrake in the allowable decel zone, and just about here you can see tire smoke starting to come back on, and there's where the contact happens.
Well, there you go. Importantly, Ian, wrong again.
I mean, I'm always wrong, and I wear that chain with the Ian's wrong hanging off of it with proud.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you one thing now. Someone's going through to the top 8, and Becky is down with Kevin Piskolty. Becky, it looks like he came in a little too hot there.
Absolutely, Dave. I think we were all wondering just then what happened. I can see you pointing at the driver's side wheel. Is there something happening with your brakes there?
Yeah, there was no left root brake, so I don't know what happened. We will check it and focusing for the next round. Thanks for the amazing support. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll see you at the next round. Guys.
Thanks, Becky. So Lock loses the brakes.
Lose the brakes. And you know what? And I think that comes down to, it's another factor to put into the mix with everything else that's going on here, Dave, is that they're relying on the left foot brake so much, so they're overheating maybe the pads and discs on the front of the car. And then when you get into that second run, you go to hit the foot brake on initiation, everything's cooked.
Yeah,
everything's
no brakes. Everything fading away. Well, let's just go to our next battle. And it's another one where you go, I can't believe this is really happening. Benediktas Čirba will go up against Naoki Nakamura. I spoke to Čirba before this battle. He said, I don't know what to expect from Nakamura. Nobody does. He's the unknown entity on the grid. He drives a completely different style to everybody else. Will it work in his favor or will it work against him? He looks like he's pumped up and ready to go. And he is one of the best chase drivers in the game. So expect that he'll be rubbing some yellow doors here as they come through the first couple of corners. Car is fast and he is aggressive. And look at this. He's ready to go. Benediktas Čirba from Lithuania in the lead. Nakamura from Japan in the chase.
Yeah, look at this, though, from Čirba. He's absolutely dialed in, fires down into those outside zones. He's shallow on the outside zone, too. That's a big mistake from Čirba. Let's see if he can pull this one back together again. No proximity at the moment from Naoki Nakamura as he now fires up onto the door of Benediktas Čirba. Čirba now gets himself back into the groove, but there's no getting rid of the Japanese champion as Nakamura dives onto the side.
Ooh, got hot and heavy.
That was a big mistake from Čirba.
We were just looking at Čirba's runs all day saying the man is on rails. I think he derailed because the first corner for me, it looked like, I'd like to see outer zone 1 again from Čirba because it looked to me like it wasn't the picture perfect run.
No, it was, look, there was 2 white lines there on that white line that crosses the circuit and he was way over it, so the judges would already be pinpointing him there. He comes down and for some reason, does he get hit here? Contact. That's where the problem lies. And it kind of upsets Čirba into outside zone 2 because he's not, look, bam, the back of the car gets accelerated.
Yeah, so Čirba's got to brake more than he normally would because he's on more momentum from the hit.
Yeah.
And that's why he misses outer zone 2 and 3. And you know what? I jumped straight in there saying big mistake from Čirba, but it looks to me like it's a mistake from Nakamura when you look back at it.
And no visible marks on the car, so it must have been like a wheel-to-wheel contact as well, Dave. So we would have spotted that on the transitions. From there on out, to me, Čirba does an absolutely excellent job. Nakamura, though, that chase, like he's renowned for that chase driving, and he really showed there what he can do.
Well, we said that he would put some marks on the yellow doors. He did that, but he did a little too heavy.
It was a bit of a mistake that way,
he hit him too hard. So now Nakamura will be in the lead position. Benediktas Čirba in the chase position. Nakamura trying to send that perfect lead run in here. A big flick from Nakamura as he fires down the track. Čirba now has to start hunting him down, and he does. Čirba's right up there with Nakamura. Nakamura wide on his line, outer zone 3. All good so far from the Japanese champion. As Čirba now just trying to get that little bit more look at the proximity from Benediktas Čirba. Almost chewed the door off Nakamura's car as they come around the last corner. Oh, Čirba's close to the wall, sparks the wall, loses ground. It looks like it just fell away from him at the end to compound the mistake from the first run. Not the way we expected this one to go.
No, certainly not, Dave. And that one, few interesting points into a pick-up out of that battle as both these guys pull up. And Nakamura doing an incredible job in that lead position. For me, Čirba really applied the pressure on outside zone 4. I wonder what happened. There was something that happened as they came out of outside zone 4 to 5 that maybe upset Čirba.
Not sure. I mean, we got too deep in outer zone 4, got himself stuck on the inside.
Yeah, well, so here we go. Let's have a look at the... I mean, there was a big bit of separation here, and Čirba made a massive dive down on outside zone 1. As you can see him firing down on the foot brake and the handbrake. Gets himself into it. A little bit of separation, but he reels him in across the run, which is what the judges would be looking for, looking to gain that proximity back across the full length of the run. Nakamura, though, absolutely right where the judges wanted to see him. Now, this is where Čirba makes the attack into that outside zone nice and early, and then Čirba squeezes a throttle, makes a big lunge onto the door, gets right up on there, onto the foot brake, they both go. But where does Čirba, or what happens to put Čirba in the wrong place on the circuit? That's kind of what is coming into my mind. As you can see, Nakamura here transitions to outside zone. Oh, Nakamura's out of the outside zone early, Dave. That's the problem. And he takes a strange line, and that upsets Čirba. He comes out of outside zone 4 a little early.
And then Čirba hits the wall.
Yeah. because I think Čirba in the chase position is kind of triangulating that part of the circuit. Look at this, bang, that's a big hit on the wall.
Well, you know what? As far as I'm concerned right now, and I'm just trying to listen in on the judging conversation
you're taking a little,
and they're analysing every moment of the track, which is to such a degree that it's almost incredible to listen to of how they put it together. But Čirba, to me, you know, that wasn't what we saw in top 32.
No.
Let's see which way the judges go. Nakamura is going to look up at the screen and hope his name is in lights after this, or will it be Čirba's going through to the top 8? It is Naoki Nakamura gets the win, and you can see it means the world to him, because he hasn't had the easiest run since Sweden here in the championship. He is a happy man right now, getting back into that S15. And quickly to you, Kevin, some mistakes from Čirba in the lead and the chase on that one.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it comes down to. In our opinion, it looks like Čirba has massively gripped up the car, and it looked like a nightmare to drive. So you look at his lead run, and he was making lots and lots of mistakes. Early decels into outer zone 1, which, in our opinion, he caused the contact between him and Nakamura. Way off a lot of the zones the whole way throughout the track, and actually Nakamura did quite a good job to maintain proximity the whole way throughout on that first run. Then you look at the second run, and Nakamura doing a far better job in that lead position, really nailing that qualifying line for the most part. A couple of small errors, and then Čirba just not having an answer to the pace, really. He had one last shot at diving in on outer zone 4, but it was not enough to overturn the disadvantage that he had from both runs and all those mistakes that totted up.
And there you have it. Nakamura moves on to our top 8, and we move it along to our next top 16 battle. And this is an interesting one. Very confident young man who may be just deciding the fate of the whole night. It is Itay Sadeh from Israel. And he said, as I spoke to him in the top 16, I'll tell you what's better than beating a Shanahan, beating 2.
Beating 2.
And he could beat 2 if he beats Conor Shanahan. Conor Shanahan's brother, Jack Shanahan, the championship leader, eliminated by Itay Sadeh in the top 32. The 16-year-old, or 17-year-old now, is the man to watch tonight. Conor Shanahan having some trouble, some mechanical gremlins in the top 32. Got the job done, though, against Alexander Kosahov, but now Itay Sadeh is going to feel like if he can take down Jack, why can't he take down Conor? And this is going to be very interesting for the Shanahans. If both of them get eliminated by the one kid in the one night, this championship's blown wide open. Conor Shanahan needs the points here for the championship as they roll into the first corner. Shanahan in the lead.
Yeah, look at this already, though. Itay Sadeh on the inside makes a brave dive, but he's now put himself on the inside edge of the circuit. It means he's shortcutting it massively, and the judges won't like that. Conor goes wide. Itay Sadeh goes for a dive in the outside zone, but he's way on the inside again. He can't hang with Shanahan as Conor Shanahan applies the pressure. Big flick across the circuit from Conor Shanahan as Itay Sadeh has no answer for the pace of the other Shanahan across the line.
Yeah, you know, a lot of guys and girls will be watching this and saying, hey, but he's really close. Well, it's how he got there that the judges are going to watch, and that's where the technicality of the sport comes in. Yes, he is close in certain areas, but he's cutting the track. And what we mean by cutting the track, what I like about, say, this particular way of judging is that Itay, look at this, he goes on the inside. So he's making the track smaller,
yeah.
Therefore he's taking, you know, it's an easier way of doing things. He is overtaking Shanahan on the first corner. He's supposed to be mimicking the lead car by being, you know, on the quarter panel, on the door, but he's on the front wheel. He's actually overtaking. That's a big mistake.
The good thing with this track is, though, Dave, if you're in the right place as a chase driver, you should be running that qualifying line almost, because you can position the car to run the walls and run those outside zones. And Itay Sadeh didn't prove that. He placed the car on the inside, shortcutting the track, as you say, gaining that ground easily, cheating basically his way around the track in a chase position.
Which is incredible to watch. And, you know, you've obviously got a change of circumstance here with the grip levels going down, the temperatures coming down. But it looks like Conor Shanahan had, in my opinion, a sketchy top 32.
Yeah.
Looks more comfortable now in the top 16, and it's switched around where Itay was all on it in the top 32, but now he's making errors. So maybe this switch from light to dark, from hot to cold, has made a big difference to the way these guys are driving the car.
You say cold. You mean like 6 degrees cooler than it was.
Yeah, it's
at
still
lunchtime.
like 25 degrees. But you know, it makes a big difference.
It does
you look
make
at
a huge difference.
And the biggest difference is not the air temperature, it's the ground temperature.
Yeah.
It was 50 degrees. It's probably down in the 20s, and this is making all the difference.
It certainly is. But look at this, Shanahan now. He knows he needs to get the job done. He's probably been on the radio to the spotters, and they say, look, blow his doors off, and this could be the one right now. As Itay Sadeh goes for an absolutely blinder of a lead run, fires that car. It needs to be deep into the wall. Sparks into into Shannon's face. Shanahan is right there with him. He's deep in the zones and he's onto the door of that BMW as Conor Shanahan looks to make one last dive onto the door of Itay Sadeh's BMW across the line. They are glued together, Dave.
Yeah, well, Itay Sadeh said, you know, I want to take down 2 Shanahans. I don't think that's going to be the case. Conor Shanahan showing again and reminding everyone why he's second in the championship, could be first in the championship after this. And I'll tell you what, Conor Shanahan did have a sketchy start here, you know, crash in qualifying. He said he wasn't feeling himself. But this is when Conor Shanahan gets dangerous, when he gets in that zone, and he was definitely in the zone over the 2 runs there. Incredible proximity, and I think Itay Sadeh is going to know this himself, that didn't go as well as he would have expected.
I mean, look, you would know it yourself as a driver, you know, being in that chase position out in that outside zone. He would have known he was struggling for the grip, and he would have been able to almost feel Conor Shanahan breathing down his neck on some of these transitions and some of these outside zones because Shanahan was glued to him. Look at this dive, Dave. He's right there, and he says, look, I can get on your door and I'll push you into these zones. We're going to party tonight, and I'm going to make sure that I get to that podium to party.
Well, that's it. Conor Shanahan had to make the move. He couldn't make any mistakes. He knew Itay Sadeh was good enough to beat his brother Jack Shanahan, so he took him very seriously here. And I think Conor Shanahan approached this top 16
a bit of a grudge match.
Yeah, but he approached it a little bit like a final. He said, I have to get to the top 8. After that, it's damage, you know, it's damage control if you don't. So at the end of the day, Conor Shanahan doing a great job getting to where he needs to be. And I'll tell you one thing, look, Conor Shanahan's chase run, that's what it's about. It's about that proximity. It's about, you watch this and you know straight away this is what it's supposed to be like.
Well, I spoke to Conor and Jack in the break between top 32 and top 16, and I spoke to Conor and I said, how was that? It didn't look too good. And he said, every run, he said, is a final run.
Well, here we go. Conor Shanahan, you can see how much it means to him, and he's got it. Conor Shanahan goes through to the Great 8, keeps the championship hopes alive, and no harm done for Itay Sadeh, who now is going to be one of the names that no one is going to count out because he took down Jack Shanahan in the top 32, but he only gets that far, and Conor Shanahan is down with Becky Evans right now. Championship fight very much still on. Oh, sorry, we're down with Itay Sadeh first, and Itay is there. He beat Jack Shanahan, but he couldn't beat Conor, Becky.
Absolutely, Dave. I mean, a big smile on his face right now. Itay, what an incredible evening for you. Your first top 16 in Drift Masters. This season hasn't been the easiest. We had non-qualifying, and then you've made it through, and now you're here in top 16, taking down one of the biggest names in the sport. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Like, first top 16, first win against Jack was unbelievable. Also, now the battle with Conor was pretty close. So I'm just over the moon, really happy.
It's absolutely wonderful to have you here, and we'll see you next round. Guys, the future of the sport is absolutely bright with this 17-year-old.
Absolutely, Becky, and I'm excited to see where Itay goes with this. You know, if you believe, and you not even believe, I mean, if you do actually beat Jack Shanahan, you're going to believe that you are one of the best in the world.
He's going to leave this weekend knowing that he can come back next year, and he believes that he's good enough to do it.
Well, here we go. It's the big grudge match. It's been happening all year. Lauri Heinonen, Duane McKeever, they go back at it again, and the championship for both of these guys very much in their sights. McKeever and Heinonen will know winning this is huge for where you end up at the end of the season, and both of these guys have taken the panels, the bumpers off each car against each other all year. McKeever losing out more often than not. He's going to want revenge here against Heinonen, but Heinonen, he can see Jack Shanahan fall and he wants to rise. This one is going to be very intense.
It's going to be super intense, and you can see how intense it is inside the car. Laser focused is Lauri Heinonen as they come off the line, scream through the gears, but McKeever's not going to let him get away. Two Nissan 260s go battle head to head right now as they go for the wall, but look at this McKeever not letting Lauri Heinonen get away. Oh, big transition from McKeever as he almost takes the back end of Lauri Heinenen's S13. They go wall to wall, wall to wall again across the circuit, but McKeever loses some ground. Heinonen opens the throttle of that ProCharge V8 and screams in McKeever's face.
That is what it's all about here at Drift Masters. Two of the biggest names in the game laying it all down on the track. McKeever's transitions were just depth-defying. Heinenen's lead run was perfect. McKeever knew he had to risk it, and he did from the off. Initiation, look at the proximity of McKeever on Heinonen in the most dangerous part of the track. He is pinned to him through that first corner, but Heinonen, he goes straight out to that wall. He knows that that perfect lead run, if you don't get it, you're not going to score high, and he's there, leaving McKeever. At this transition from Duane McKeever, look at this. Nose in, just perfection.
Yeah, absolute perfection, Dave. You know what? An inch further forward and that would have been catastrophe for both of those guys. But Lauri Heinenen's on a ripper of a lead run, absolutely glued to the wall. But there was no shaking Duane McKeever. He's right there. Look at that. He can almost get out and change the wing mirror if he wanted to. And the transition again off of this outside zone from McKeever was just spectacular. Wait for the transition. Boom! Gets it timed perfectly. But he loses a little ground because he swings the car on too much angle. That was the only thing I could take away from that battle that McKeever did wrong.
Yeah, it looked like he just stayed on the door that little bit too long. He transitioned that little bit too late, but at that point he had gained so much proximity that now Lauri Heinonen must be feeling the heat. He's got to go for it here. The Finnish fans hold their breath as Heinonen chases in McKeever. And something, maybe a false start there. Maybe a false start. Heinonen, once he overtook McKeever, went, that's a little too aggressive, Heinonen.
Heinonen went to initiate. He fully clutch kicked the car. Oh, and McKeever throws his arm out the window as if to say, I can't believe it.
So let's have a look at what happened. Did McKeever shut down? Was it a false start? We're going to get information very soon for you guys. But yeah, not sure what happened there.
For me, it was maybe an issue with McKeever's
so we're hearing from the marshals it's not a false start.
No, so McKeever's car has clearly broken to some degree.
Has McKeever shut off on initiation? You can see Lauri Heinonen going, what happened there? And McKeever's got his helmet off. Now that tells a big story. If the helmet's off,
belt's
which
off
means
as well.
something has broken on McKeever's car. And this has been the tale of Duane McKeever's season. As far as I can tell right now, if the helmet's been taken off, he's blown a diff or a drive shaft or something maybe coming off the line, and there's no go in the car. Yeah, I'll put it this way. That is the body language of a man that has some problems.
I'm getting it in my ear, Dave. He's broken a drive shaft in the car. He broke a drive shaft on the clutch kick. Yeah.
And he even says it himself. Lauri Heinonen, and I love how disappointed Lauri Heinonen was. I was like, come on, I want to do some drifting.
Do you know what? Lauri Heinonen was lucky he never crashed into him, because watches him clutch kick it. He clutch kicks and he's like, whoa, where are you going, Duane? And then he realises Duane's not in front anymore.
Yeah, he realises Duane ain't coming with him. So yeah, drive shaft goes coming off the line. McKeever, car just has absolutely, yeah, look, one left wheel spinning, right wheel not spinning. He knew straight away something was wrong. He couldn't get the car to break traction. And Lauri Heinonen looked a hand out the window saying, come on, Duane, we were going to have a great battle. And Duane goes, I know, what can I do? I'm a heavy man on gear.
I'm a heavy man. I'm a heavy man with a car. That's what he is.
Oh, that's heartbreaking for Duane McKeever after such a strong performance this weekend. Mechanical failure is going to hand this battle to Lauri Heinonen. Lauri Heinonen, as much as he would have been disappointed with this, he is moving through to the top 8, and the championship just got even more interesting because now Conor Shanahan and Lauri Heinonen both into the top 8. Jack Shanahan will be looking on saying, this is not ideal. Not ideal in the way it happened, Becky, but ideal in the result. Lauri Heinonen moving on.
Moving on, exactly. Lauri, I can already tell by your face, that is not how you want to win here, is it?
No, I think me and Duane are like battle friends, so this is definitely not how I want to win.
It was shaping up to be an incredible battle as well. You guys were inseparable on the track. Do you like driving with Duane because you know he's going to go full power and you can push as hard as you can?
Yeah, exactly that. I was looking forward to get a really nice chase, like the first one for today, but not today.
Well, congratulations. You are moving through to our Great 8. Guys, back to you.
Well, a man that won and is disappointed.
Yeah,
I mean, there's something wrong with these Drift Masters drivers because they win and now they're disappointed because they didn't win in front of everybody.
But I think that just goes to show you how much of a sportsman they are, because they don't want to go down or they don't want to get granted wins easily. They want to fight their way through and they want to fight into these top 8s and these finals and these final 4s because they want to prove to everybody around the world, even though everyone already knows, Dave, they want to prove why they are the best of the best. We're back on the line. It's Juha Rintanen and Paweł Korpuliński. Now this, for me, is a huge one. Rintanen in the championship hunt. Paweł Korpuliński says, this is my track. Every time I come here, I get on the podium, and you think you're going to stop me, Rintanen? Not a chance.
Well, Rintanen's got to be looking at Conor Shanahan and Lauri Heinonen getting through here. He has to. If Rintanen wants to stay in the fight here, he's third coming into this round. He's going to be 5th at the end of it if he doesn't win this battle. Korpuliński's down the order, and he doesn't care. He just wants that podium. He just wants to win. But Rintanen's got to prove this now. Is he the right guy to take this championship this year? This is one of those big obstacles he's going to have to overcome. And boy, with Korpuliński on the form he's on now, it's going to be tough.
It certainly is going to be tough. It's going to be even tougher right now, Dave, because look at the separation already. Juha Rintanen fires that little GR86 to the wall on a wave, but now Korpuliński does a little bit of shortcutting and manages to get himself back into the mix at the moment. Rintanen into that wall, up onto it he goes. Smoke fired in the face of the cameras. Rintanen takes it to the wall. Big sparks, bang sparks once again as Korpuliński sees that opportunity and takes it.
Well, you know, I'm just going to put it out there, and I know everyone's not thinking it right now. Has he done damage here, Rintanen? Has he done more damage to that car than he wanted to, because he hit that wall pretty hard and he's not able to fix it if he has a problem? So Rintanen, I mean, they can barely look, the Finnish fans at this point.
They can't
even watch this craziness on track, because Rintanen goes in like a rocket ship, but does he get out of zone 1? I am not confident he does.
I think he does, Dave.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think he lays down a really nice decision. Look how wide he is to the wall.
You know what? You're dead right, and Korpuliński couldn't track to get there.
And he has to sacrifice.
Is at a big disadvantage, and again,
but is he up until the point where Juha Rintanen tags the wall? Let's take a watch, Dave. We're watching this as fans, and you know what? This is probably one of the best drift events I've ever watched as a drift fan. But for me, Juha Rintanen makes a few mistakes here. He's deep in the outside zone. Korpuliński sees the opportunity. Watch the transition, though. So fast. It gets into the wall. Bam! That's a big mistake that upsets the car. The wheels are almost straight on the front. And look at that impact, and then he makes impact again as he handbrakes into the second to last outside zone. That's another mistake.
Is there sparks from Rintanen's car here just before he transitions?
No, that's from the exhaust.
That's the exhaust, and then
so he hits the wheel and something else on the wall, and then bam, hits it again. And Korpuliński sees this and he says, do you know what? If you're making mistakes, I'm the man that's going to be all over him.
Not huge mistakes, though. Not enough to call this one.
Still corrected the front wheels, though, Dave.
What I'm saying is not enough to put this one all the way back to Korpuliński. It's still going to come down to this second run, I guarantee
you know what? I'd say it's even Stevens right now, and it's going to come down to the second half of the run. That's where I see it.
Well, here we go. It's going to be Korpuliński in the lead. Oh, and Rintanen almost makes contact on the entry.
Wow.
It's getting messy.
It's getting very, very messy, and Juha Rintanen had to back out that one massively. Korpuliński gets himself dialed, looks for this outside line, and that starts to make it work now as he nails it into outside zone 4. That big, long wall run, Rintanen in there, but I think he may have issues, or he's gripped that car to the max. Look at this transition. Can't seem to hold the car in a right position on the circuit. Right to the edge of the track he goes. Korpuliński seems like he's got that one in the bag, though.
So now he put wheels off towards the end, Korpuliński, and it's hard to say what happened on that first corner. I'm going to need to see a replay before I jump right into the barrel with you there, Ian.
I'm in the barrel, Dave. I'm neck deep in the cold water.
You are, and I am waiting to see that replay on the first corner, because I'm not sure what happened. It looked to me like it was very messy, very sketchy. And was it just Rintanen being sketchy, or both drivers being sketchy? I've got to say, watch this as they come through. Rintanen almost hits Korpuliński as he comes through the first corner. Looks to me like Korpuliński gets the job done pretty good there.
I'm going to say that's Rintanen's fault again. You know, coming in too hot. Korpuliński's absolutely dialed. Look at that. You couldn't have been on a nicer line there on the outside zone. And then, for me, Rintanen kind of gets a little scrappy, Dave. He kind of really starts hustling and tussling. He looks a little desperate out there. He's not matching the angle. He's shallowed up. Look at the angle he is there with Korpuliński as he's on the rear wheel. Waits for that transition. And things get a little bit messy now as they get through the second half of the circuit.
But you know what? Looks cool.
Looks
very cool. I'm just watching the flames firing up, and look at the flames from the back of Rintanen. The flames coming out of the wall.
Look, as much as I love watching this as a fan, and I love watching the flames and the smoke, you've got to look at the technicalities, because this track is going to nail those technicalities. Look at the angle of Rintanen. He's almost straight there on that outside zone. You know I'm Dave. Look,
I'm inclined to agree.
Sorry to pop your balloon up there. I'm going to be a party pooper, but I don't think that...
here as well. I think, yeah, as I watch through it,
I think the championship's going to get blown wide apart right now.
I think Rintanen maybe knows it too. A little shake of the head from Rintanen there. He's not sure, but he doesn't look as confident. Paweł, Korpuliński and Rintanen. Who's going through to the top 8? It's going to be Juha Rintanen going through to the top 8. Ian, back out of the barrel, over to Kevin O'Connell. Kevin, there's got to be some technicality in there that we didn't notice.
There's a lot to break down in that one, Dave. And if you go back to the first run, I guess, where Juha was leading, he did have mistakes, especially where you saw that he hit the wall at outer zone 5. But other than that, he had a great lead run. He really was nailing all of those zones pretty much the whole way throughout. A couple of small deviations here and there. Whereas Korpuliński, he had a massive gap from the initiation. Looks like he got caught sleeping and didn't make that up until he made a huge dive coming into outer zone 4. So already there, he was at a major disadvantage. You switch him around then, and Korpuliński's run was nowhere near as good in the lead run compared to Juha's, making a lot of mistakes and really deviating from that qualifying line, almost trying like he had the car gripped up and was trying to get away from him. Yes, Juha's chase run wasn't as clean, couple of small mistakes, but he wasn't deviating from that qualifying line overall. So I think overall, just about takes it is Juha.
Well, there you have it, Ian. And again, we watch it as fans. When you break down the technicality and the guys here explain it to us, it makes perfect sense. Your emotion naturally jumps to the most exciting moment of the battle. It's all over. But unfortunately, it's about every run and all its nuances.
I just get excited, Dave.
You get very excited. You know, I like that, Ian. Everyone likes getting excited.
You can't wetten my excitement. Even that cold barrel of water didn't.
No.
Here we go, though, Dave.
Look at this for a lineup for the top 8. We got Kvia versus Pesur. We got Więcek against Randalu. Conor Shanahan versus Naoki Nakamura, which is just a, how did these things even ever happen? And then Lauri Heinonen against Juha Rintanen, the 2 drivers sitting 3rd and 4th in the championship. The 2 highest ranking Finnish drivers are going to go head to head in the top 8. Becky, this is heating up right now. We've got 3 championship contenders left in the fight, and the fight is only beginning.
Absolutely, Dave. I mean, the sun has gone down, but by goodness, the heat is still in at the paddock right here. I'm taking a quick walk. I'm going to come and have a chat with Duane McKeever. His team are right here, taking a look at what's going on. Duane, it's so frustrating, right? It wasn't even a big part that broke. It was a drive shaft, but what you thought was broken, it actually just popped out.
Yeah, literally just popped out of the depth, so it did. We thought we broke it, but no, it's literally as simple as that. And I'm gutted because the championship's further away from me now, and I thought today would have been the day to pull it all back. And after my chase run with Lauri there, I was starting to feel the confidence. I was starting to build again. Like.
You know, driving with Lauri, he is an exceptional driver, and you were going to push, push, push. What is it like to drive with somebody that you know is going to give it 110?
Me and Lauri, we have similar driving styles. We're very aggressive. We drive very fast. So me chasing Lauri is just more or less like following or chasing one of my lead runs, you must say. So no, I really like battling him, even though I've battled him like 4 times this year. So I've probably like battled him more in one season than I have in most other drivers. Like, so yeah, no, but it's definitely awesome to battle him, and he's a great driver and a great person. So fair play to him.
Is it fair to say that you're battle buddies at this point?
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it at this stage, and I'm sure probably in Poland we'll probably meet each other again.
Thank you so much, Duane. Sorry about that, but we'll see you in Poland. Let's take a little walk through here. I mean, there's so many people enjoying the atmosphere, and that's one thing that I love about Ferropolis. You've got the lights, you've got some machinery going on, and all the people that are just enjoying this incredible event. Let's take a walk. Let's see if we can find Conor Shanahan. I can see him hiding here. Conor, off. So, got yourself through into top 8. Itay was a little bit of retribution for your brother there, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't going to be 2 Shanahans in the one night. But yeah, that was the first time today that I felt like I was a little bit back in the zone. Not perfect, but yeah, felt much better in the car and could relax and enjoy it a little bit more. But can't thank my team. They're working endless to make sure I'm staying on track, and all my friends and stuff, and all other Irish drivers who were here for Iron Drift King here supporting and stuff. So I enjoyed watching them last night, so I'm glad I'm putting on a show for them. Yeah, down to me now. I need to fly the flag high. Got the Japanese man next, and we just done some research on my spotter. I've never drove with him yet, so his driving style is very, very different to what I'm used to following and stuff. And yeah, he's a fan of using the handbrake as the way he drives and the technique. So I just got to be careful that I don't make contact and push too hard. But it's game on. I'm hungry and I'm ready to take it all the way.
We've got to talk about strategy. I mean, you as a driver, are you watching every other driver that you're about to battle, trying to strategize what's his driving style, like how has he been doing today? Is that part of your process?
Yeah, for sure. Me and my spotter Kevin work quite closely, and he's watching every car from the first practice session. So anytime I have a question, he can tell me what the normal of average of what the car in front of me is doing. I'm also quite lucky that we qualify still in decent position yesterday, so I lead first, so get the perfect lead run in, and then he comes on the comms and tells me, okay, attack, don't attack. And that last battle, you know, he told me, okay, do an impressive entry on the door and door him around outer zone forward and come off and play it a little bit safe, and the information was perfect. Translated it into real life, and yeah, got the job done.
We've got to talk about that initiation as well, because from where I'm standing, when you come into outer zone 1, it's not quite a perfect arc. It's almost straight, and then you have to get the car straight to angle and able to get yourself round.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest corners in the championship, to be honest. It's such a unique way of doing it, and you kind of have to push as well. Today I've been playing it a little bit safe since the accident yesterday, so I had to try just get myself that out of my mind and so I could push and make outer zone 1 into 2 and make 3 a perfect radius. And 3 as well, or while chasing, is quite difficult, because if the lead driver does something different, you're not ready, you know. So not every lead driver does exactly the same thing. That's why it's so challenging to be a really good chase driver. Quite good there, I could attack, and I knew he was doing a good lead run, but this might be a different situation. So I'm going to go out there with the mindset that we're good enough to get the job done, and yeah, let's just stay consistent and try push when we need to push.
We've got to talk about, you know, when you had those engine gremlins before you went up to the line, how do you get your head out of, is this going to work? Is my engine about to blow up? How do you get yourself back into the zone in such a short space of time?
Yeah, it's obviously the most mentally demanding thing what we do, I think, is that trying to find a rhythm the minute we put that harness on. To be honest, nothing really changes. Of course, you're a little bit hot-headed, you're rushing around, but for me, I just try when that helmet goes on and count to 5 on the starting line, tell myself focus, and I just try to get back in the zone as easy as I can. It's easier said than done, for sure. You know, we struggled sometimes, and I made a mistake yesterday which made me realise, you know, you can't be perfect all the time, and that's the joys of this sport. So I'm going to go out there now, do the same thing, tell myself calm down. I'm going to enjoy putting on an incredible show in front of this awesome fans who are cheering quite loud, and we can hear them afterwards and stuff. And we got the Irish out in force tonight, so let's bring the flag to number 1.
Speaking of Irish out in force, I've heard that for the last round, as we head to the PGE Arena with 50,000 tickets sold, even more, I think maybe about 5,000 of those tickets have been sold to the Irish.
Yeah, it's incredible. The support what we have for home right now is unbelievable. And while I have the chance, a big shout out to everybody in the Haven Bar tonight cheering me on again. All my close friends are there, and of course, good family. One of my teams nearly had a big off, but you know, yeah, big shout out to them. Big shout out to Packy and Carl behind the bar, putting it on the TV for them, and yeah, hopefully we bring another cup back to Kilavolan later on. And as I said, everybody's coming to Poland. We've been making a joke in the team, there won't be a cow milked in the village for the week, and that's for sure. So everybody's bought tickets, and yeah, I'm looking forward to putting on a show and hopefully taking home a championship back on the plane with them.
Last question, are you going to be watching that battle with Juha and Lauri Heinonen very closely?
For sure. I thought Korpuliński was going to do us a favour there, but yeah, Juha's hanging on, he's been there all season, we can't count him out for it, so he's quite close to me, 5 points difference coming in here, so hopefully that he gets knocked out and I can try pull a little bit of an advantage and make my life easier as we go to the last round.
Thank you so much, Conor, and good luck in your next round. Well, there you have it, guys. It's all heating up. The drivers are keeping a very close eye on what the battles are going to bring in the top 8. I can't wait.
I'll tell you what, Becky, we are really excited because we know what's coming now. The best battles of the day usually arrive from the top 8 onwards. And one man that I'm watching very closely is Naoki Nakamura, because he has had a rough introduction to European drifting. Moments of brilliance, moments where he didn't even qualify. But he's learning as he goes, and he goes up against Conor Shanahan, who was just interviewed moments ago. And Nakamura has had a podium this year already in Sweden, where he was a masterclass. He came out there and he did what he always does, put on an incredible chase run. Conor Shanahan, like, this is back in Sweden. Look at Nakamura's chase driving here. It's absolutely phenomenal. At the speeds they were carrying on that circuit, this was the best run he's done, and he was close to everybody. If Conor Shanahan's watching anyone right now at the corner of his eye, it's got to be Nakamura. It
certainly is going to be Nakamura. Look at that. Even Čirba takes a look over in that replay, and you can see Nakamura relishing this high-speed stuff. He said to a few people was kind of new to him, this absolutely flat-out fourth gear, full-speed stuff, and he adapted to it. And Sweden, he came alive, you know, and that chase driving that everybody told us about, that we know from history, from being that champion in Japan, it kind of played out. And then we was waiting, or we've been waiting for him to do it again. And I said, get him on one of these close, personal, technical circuits, and I think that's where he's going to relish. He's going to come alive. And by God, this weekend he's come alive, Dave.
Yeah, and I think if Conor Shanahan wants to win this championship, he's going to have to go through the Japanese champion at some point. And this is a big battle for him. That's one we're looking at. I'm also looking at Lauri Heinonen and Juha Rintanen. The Finnish fans here are going to be silent for the whole thing, because they know that both of those drivers are their biggest hope of their first ever European title. But they've got to go head to head now. And one of them is going to lose out here and lose valuable championship points. Rintanen goes in as the championship leader. Heinenen's been chasing all year. He's gone through McKeever again, not the way he would have wanted to, and now he's got to beat his fellow countryman to go to the top 4 and take on either Nakamura or Shanahan. Then you look at the other side of the battle, and you got to say Piotr Wiecek looking like the shark in the water there. Car working, Peter working. And you know what? He's got a very stacked side of the grid as well. He's got to go up against Oliver Randalu, who I think has put in the best chase runs of the night. And then another battle. Easy to see how this is the best championship in the world when you got Arne Kvia going up against Kevin Pesur, and they've both been on form all weekend. Of all of those 8 drivers that are on that grid right now, I can honestly sit here and tell you that I have no idea who's going to be the top 3 on the podium. That's what I love about this championship. It's not predictable. Form means nothing in this situation. It's all about who can get it done on the night, and sometimes you need a little bit of luck. Sometimes you get a little bit of a gremlin like Duane McKeever did, and you could be out instantaneously. Peter Wiecek will tell you all about that this year. Last year, he went out of this competition with a mechanical failure, so he's just hoping the car stays together. So are the other 7 drivers left in the competition. It's heating up massively right now.
It certainly is. And look, you even look at it like this, Dave. If Więcek does get through Randalu, he's got a very on-form Kevin Pesur or a very on-form Arne Kvia to go against to even get into the Final Four. This isn't sealed and dealed for none of these drivers. Not one of these drivers can look at that battle bracket, that grade 8, and say, I'm easily going to make the final, because no one has got it easy. Everyone is looking at every other driver saying tonight is going to be a very tough night in the business end of it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the place is packed. They're all waiting for these 8 drivers to come out and put on an incredible show. We're waiting for it. And if you're a fan at home, you know what it means. Here under the lights in Ferropolis, we're going to see things we may never have seen before. Yesterday, unprecedented, 21 drivers in the 90s in qualifying. What does a top 8 look like after that? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be fire and brimstone. Literally, as we see sparks on the walls, sparks from the cars, flames from the exhaust, flames from the wall, and we're going to see a lot of nervous drivers out there trying to prove their worth. It is going to be an incredible finale to this event, heading us up for a championship fight in Poland. And all we got to do now is sit back and wait for those 8 drivers to come on grid. Welcome to Ferropolis, welcome to the Iron Island, and welcome to the penultimate round of the Drift Masters European Championship 2023. The championship fight has never been closer, and also, on top of everything else, the battles have never been ever this intense. 8 drivers remain. We started with over 50. There's been crashes, thrills, spills, mechanical breakdowns, upsets, young stars rising. And what we've noticed from start to finish is it's anybody's game. My name is Dave Egan. I'll be talking you through the action alongside my good friend Ian Waddington, and this is the story so far this year. We started in Ireland, where our current champion, Peter Wiecek, business as usual. But then the rails came off, and it was Juha Rintanen taking the win in Sweden, the Finnish driver climbing up the championship. Conor Shanahan was then the winner of round 3. Round 4 went to Jack Shanahan. So the championship was stacking up between the Finnish drivers and the Irish drivers, with Peter Wiecek having some issues along the way. But here in Ferropolis, things have gone very different. Jack Shanahan, the first big casualty of the top 32. He goes in as, this is where it stands before we start a competition today, with Jack and Conor leading the championship. Juha Rintanen and Lauri Heinonen were right on their heels in 3rd and 4th position. And you're looking at Peter Wiecek saying, well, he's way out of contention there. Well, everything started to change once we started turning wheels in that top 32. Jack Shanahan went up against Itay, the youngster, 17 years of age from Israel, and you thought this should be business as usual for the current points leader. It was anything but. Itay pulled out 2 of the greatest runs we've ever seen here in Ferropolis and took out Jack Shanahan in the top 32. Meaning that Jack Shanahan has to watch the rest of the event from the sidelines. His brother Conor Shanahan would go one more time as well, but he would make it through and now ends up in the top 8. But Heinonen, Rintanen and Conor Shanahan now eating away at Jack Shanahan's points, and Jack Shanahan dejected. He's had a couple of good days. He's come off straight a win in Riga as the king of Riga. But look, straight away you can tell he knew this was not going to be an easy finish to the season. And Itay Sadeh announces himself as a superstar on the European drift scene. The fans are in attendance. They're waiting to see what happens next. And what happens next is 8 drivers become 3, 2, and 1 on the podium. And the championship fight is very much on the line. Let's talk about that track. It's a crazy track, which is usually used for concerts. AC/DC, Limp Bizkit, they've all been here. And now it's a drift arena for this weekend. The fans on the stands have to contend with a very tough circuit ahead of them. Inner zones, we don't need inner zones. It's all about outer zones. They're all on concrete walls, and there's only one deceleration zone, and it's full throttle from the start line, through the gears, clutch kick, through the start of the scoring zone, then ride the wall on outer zone 1 all the way down. Stay wide on the line, and if you get it right, you end up at outer zone 2. If you don't, you end up in outer zone 2. Outer zone 3 then comes up in yet another concrete wall, and it's this really long transition onto outer zone 4, which will see the drivers pass in front of incredible flames firing from the wall as they are door to door, going through the center section of outer zone 4. And there's the second transition, and this one's dangerous, high speed. Get it right, and onto outer zone 5 you go and set yourself up for the last corner with outer zone 6 and 7. Get it wrong, and again, you could be in that wall and ruining your weekend. All 8 drivers have scored incredibly high in qualifying, but how are they going to score when it comes to the top 8? Ian, we've been excited by these guys all weekend. If you're just joining us, this may be the most competitive top 8 in world drifting ahead.
It certainly has been, Dave. It's been competitive since the day they got here. These guys have been fighting it out in qualifying. They're still fighting it out right now to find out who will make the top step at the podium. As you can see, our wildcard driver of the weekend taking first place in qualifying and now finds himself in the Grade 8, battling Kevin Pesur. Więcek, the current and defending champion, takes on a very on-form Oliver Randalu. Conor Shanahan, the man hunting this year's championship, well, he takes on a Japanese champion, Naoki Nakamura. And the 2 Finnish drivers that have been getting cheers all around the world as we have been following them around this campaign this season now go head to head in the top 8 to decide who is the greatest Finnish driver ever.
8 drivers remain. The championship's on the line. We hope you guys are ready for some incredible fireworks here in Ferropolis. Let's head to the top 8. Well, this is the business end of the weekend. 8 drivers hoping for 3 spots on the podium. One of those will be Arne Kvia. He topped qualifying with a 98-point run. He's not in the championship, but he is definitely in the fight tonight to take the top step on the podium. Kevin Pesur sits beside him. He's a man that's risen through the ranks every round this year. He is laser focused against the Norwegian sledgehammer, and I can tell you what, this one is going to be inches and millimeters as opposed to meters and feet, because I'll tell you what, no one's backing down here, Ian. It's the first battle of our top 8 as they slot it into gear. The lights will go from red to orange to green, and we are go for the top 8 at the penultimate round of the Drift Masters European Championship.
Yeah, and here we go through the gears, almost contact, aggression already from both these guys. The Norwegian sledgehammer Kvia fires down, but Kevin Pesur, the Estonian, won't let him get away. Nice lead line at the moment from Arne Kvia, and he seems to have one up on Pesur as they fire across the circuit. Now Kevin Pesur goes for the door and outside zone 4, looks for the side of that pink 180SX as he fires down. Kevin Pesur still with him. He's not letting Kvia get away. Kvia absolutely glued to the wall across the line.
Incredible stuff from both. Almost came unstuck right at the off as they ran in from the start line. Looked to me like Kevin Pesur jumped the light a little too early, got himself in an awkward position, but he was able to get himself back in the fight. We'll look at the replay and break this one down for you guys from a technical point of view, which is what the judges will be looking for. Remember, we're watching as fans, just like you guys. We don't make the decisions. And of course, you'll hear from the judges as we go through. But to me, it looked like Kvia had a little bit of a weird initiation there where he threw the car one direction to another, and Kevin Pesur almost had to avoid that. Interesting way of opening the battle there. As you can see, Kvia almost steering into Pesur, or was Pesur too far on the other side of the track? Judges are going to watch that one.
Yeah, I think Pesur was maybe a little bit greedy there, trying to jump on the door a little bit too early and didn't give Kvia the opportunity. But, you know, that's just a run-in. That could not mean anything, Dave. Like I say, we're not the judges. We're drift fans. We're watching this as fans. For me, though, the rest of the run, the battle was absolutely flawless. These 2 guys were incredible. Pesur matching the angle, and on the door, matching every move that Kvia makes with really good proximity as well. can't really split any hairs on that one, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, if I was really nitpicking, you know, Kvia comes out of the outer zone a little early on the transition. Pesur does well to deal with it. He's with him the whole way. That little wibble wobble on the start line, we're not going to know which way the judges called it. Did Pesur get almost hit by Kvia by a wobble, or was he too greedy, as you said? It's very hard to know. Each driver has 2 minutes to get back to the start line, and they're taking time in these extremely hot temperatures to cool these machines down. Since 11 a.m. this morning, that's many hours ago, they have been shredding this track, and the cars are starting to take a beating. The temperatures are very high, not a lot of airflow within the stadium here. Pesur will be feeling hot on the collar too as he now goes into the lead position. Kvia in the chase. Kvia may feel like he's made an error on the run-in, so he's got to be aggressive here.
He's always aggressive, David. He'll be extra aggressive now because he'll want to seal the deal and get into that final four. Nice initiation from Kevin Pesur. And look at this. Kvia with him already, and Pesur on an absolute flyer, but that's opening the door for Kvia as he goes for the transition outside zone 4. A little late for Kevin Pesur, and that really messes up Kvia. He wanted to be settled in the outside zone. Now has to think about it as they fire down and shallow angle, and it leads Kvia wide, but he manages it and gets up onto the back end.
Yeah, there was a moment there and I didn't think we'd see Kvia come out of that smoke cloud. It looked like he was going to go into the wall. Somehow he appears, the bright pink car appears right on the door of Kevin Pesur again, and there's a couple of moments from both drivers in that run where it didn't look perfect to me. Looks like Kvia was a little bit wild in the chase, a little bit reserved at times, and Pesur making a big snappy transition, which he had to handbrake heavily to get back on track again. Not perfect, but we expect there to be some errors at this level with the pressure on.
I mean, look, the pressure is certainly on, Dave. As you say, it's hot on track, it's hot in the cars, and it's hot in their heads at the moment as these guys battle it out to try and decide who is the best of the best, who can be crowned here in round 5 in Germany. Let's take a look back at it on the replay. Nice initiation for both those guys. Kevin Pesur does a good job leading down to that outside zone, and Kvia deals with it nicely. Look at that, tucks that car up. A little shallow on the angle maybe for the judge's perspective, but from where we're sitting, Dave, that's a big fan moment. Look at the way he balances that car right to the edge of the track, and Kvia just slots in formation. Stunning work there for Kvia, but Kevin Pesur here, look at this. Transition from these guys is just unbelievable. Kevin Pesur, nice job there on the outside zone.
But let's watch this lead run from Kevin Pesur. Just watch the snappy transition here. As he transitions back, he puts a lot of angle in. Kvia's back a little bit, and maybe, I mean, Kvia comes in hot then, and I'm wondering, does Kvia hit the wall after the transition? It looked like he went very late. Pesur missing that outer zone to a certain extent. Kvia gets led in the wrong line there, and does Kvia hit the wall? Well, he just gets away with it.
Yeah.
He stays on throttle, so it gets a little messy there towards the end. Judges will be watching that, and both, I mean, you can see by the body language, they have no idea which way this one's going to go. It's for a space in the final 4, and it's a one more time. One more time between Arne Kvia and Kevin Pesur. Kevin, I'm going to go quickly back to you as head judge. There was some errors on both sides there.
Yeah, they're definitely down. Almost the two leads were almost a mirror image of each other, with both of the guys missing one zone each. Tor missing or being on the edge of 4, and Kevin being on the edge of outer zone 5. And then you look at the chases, then Kevin had a great second half of the run with great proximity throughout, but he made a mistake on initiation behind Tor, and Tor had the great first half of the chase run. It's the second half of the run, so overall it's way too close to call. It's almost a mirror image of the two runs, and we have to see him go one more time.
Thank you, Kevin. Nice to hear it from the judges. We couldn't decide. I'm sure you guys at home were wondering as well, and they didn't even decide either, because it's going one more time. Nobody's complaining about that. No. Now we move on to, this is a good one. Piotr Wiecek, who we know is a phenomenal lead driver who's trying to climb back. You know, he's saying he's not looking at the calculator of where the points can be gained here to get back in the championship. Randalu putting in the best chase runs of the weekend for me so far, but he's going to need all of that against the two-time champ.
Well, this is a rematch for these two guys. Both of them get to go at it again, 2022. There was no separating them in Mondello Park. Both ended up on the podium. It was for the top spot. Oliver Randalu, though, this time will want to take out Więcek for a spot in the final 4 and 2 shots at the podium. Well, what can he do? Więcek looks on form this weekend, Dave. He may look a little shaky here and there, but I think he's laser focused, and he is. Look at his eyes in the car. He waits for that light to go green. He's through the gears. Randalu already jumps up onto the side. Randalu waits for the initiation from Więcek, dials it on more angle than Więcek, and now notices that BMW in to the side of that S15. They come round the outside zone. Big flick from Randalu. A brave flick from Randalu, but it's a little too late, and now he scrubs some speed. Więcek's super fast around this track. Back bumper, front bumper gone. Contact off of the wall, and that puts Oliver Randalu into a spin. And we have got fireworks on the track, off the track, everywhere, Dave.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a case of, you know, you fly too close to the sun. It's like the tail of Icarus, right? He flew too close to the sun. He was getting away with those very close transitions all the way through 32 and 16. Didn't get away with it there. Went too close. The first transition by right, he should have made contact. He was that wild on the transition. The second, he certainly did. And that's the thing. Więcek's on the right line. So if he's on the right line, I think Randalu's looking at the pace of Więcek, saying, unless I throw incredible moves here, he's going to leave me for dead. He just bit off more than he could chew there. I think it went a little too close.
Kind of got lost a little bit there because we couldn't really see where the transition was or where that contact happened. I don't know if it was coming out of 4 into 5. As you can see, Randalu out the car. I think that's damage done that can't be repaired.
Yeah, I think it could be intercooler damage. It could be something on the front end of the car, radiator damage. And what we're hearing is the recovery truck has been called for Oliver Randalu, which means I don't think he's going to make it back to the start line within the 2-minute allotment, meaning that Więcek would automatically get the win. That's just an initial response. You know, I've watched a few drift events. I feel
just a couple, Dave.
Just a few. And I feel like if that car isn't running right now, he's going to have to forfeit this battle because there's no way they're going to load that car and everything in 2 minutes.
No, certainly not. And as we can see, it looks like there is quite a lot of damage to Oliver Randalu's car.
Yeah, and regardless, I think he's already at a disadvantage. He's incompleted. I mean, the judges are probably going to say that was too much of an aggression from the chase position on Więcek. So if that is the case, Więcek will get the automatic win here and go to the final 4. So Więcek, who's had no luck this year whatsoever, getting quite a bit of it tonight.
Kind of, finding a little bit of luck here, Dave, and it could be the weekend that he was hoping for. And fortune turning his way after really, I mean, look, we say rough season. It is a rough season. Let's take a look back at the replay, Dave, and see where it all went wrong. For me, Randalu was on a stormer. Look, he knew...
I'll be honest with you, I think he's coming in here desperate because Więcek's gone in like a rocket ship and he's trying to catch up, and he does a good job of staying in the fight. Now watch this first transition. This is wild. I mean, he doesn't know if this is going to work. Look at that. He's absolutely skimmed the back bumper of Więcek there. And he's going to try and do it again because he knows this is what the judges will want to see. Him in the fight, lots of proximity. But the second time he does it, he doesn't expect the transition so early. He transitions. That's a very late transition. And you can see there straight away. Randalu, to me, looks like he was picking up too much pace on the inside line. Więcek was on the correct line, and he absolutely destroys the back end of Więcek's car. The front end of it, you know what? He could have put Więcek in the wall there very easily. Więcek does well to get the hit and keep on trucking.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. You know, from this angle, we couldn't really see it because the amount of smoke. All you see on the transition is a bumper and frills and spills. A big contact. That was huge contact, and it was only when you really see it from the back end of Więcek's wheel hit the front wheel of Randalu's car that you realise how bad it was. So there we go. Więcek's guys having a look underneath the car. A technical advisor looking underneath the back end of Więcek's car.
Yeah, could be some issues here. I mean, he's definitely lost bodywork. He's definitely lost the tail light. Nothing they won't be able to tape down and keep happy with, but they're inspecting the car to see if it's good enough to go. Randalu, I think, you know, he's back on the start line here, Więcek, just showing that he is ready to continue the competition. I don't think Randalu is going to be ready to continue the competition.
Well, I think through technicality, if I'm not wrong, that Peter Więcek has to initiate and make the first corner. Yeah, that's right, Dave. So Więcek still has to initiate and complete at least one outside zone to keep it clear. He just has to initiate, I'm being told. So he just has to initiate to advance through to competition. Otherwise, he would get the win, but he wouldn't be allowed to battle it out in final 4. So he has to initiate.
Yeah, so basically just waiting for Randalu's car to be cleared from the circuit, which you can see the amazing Budman pick and mix truck here.
Mix truck. You like that truck?
I love that truck. Just lifts it up.
Not as much
like
as
it's a little teddy bear in the arcade. Just
Mr. Scoopy. What about that? You forgot about
Mr. Scoops is pretty good.
Yeah, you like
But
Scoops.
Mr. Claw, that's the new one. Mr. Claw comes in there, just picks the car up, puts it on the back of the truck. Love it. And this is where Więcek will have to prove the car is working just past the first initiation point, drifting. Yep. I'm imagining he's going to do a whole run just to get another run in the bag, feel the grip conditions out, that kind of stuff.
He's also going to test the car out a little bit here, Dave, and make sure the car is 110% ready to battle on, because he is in the final 4, first driver to make it through to the final 4, as long as he can initiate into that first corner. So you can see a lot of buzz down there. You can see Peter's crew down there making sure that everything's all right. They're just putting some duct tape on, wrapping it up and sending it. Dave's like a postman he is down there, Marcin, at the moment.
Yeah, you know, he loves that magic tape.
He loves that magic tape.
And by the end of the event, I can imagine that tape is holding most of these cars together. Yeah, because that's how it works. That's a lot of tape. That's a whole roll of tape by the looks of it.
That's a big bandage.
He's wrapped the entire back end of the car together, so that is, he was taking no chances there.
No chances. He didn't want anything to fall off.
And they're just going to check the car. As you said, they're going to make sure that everything in the car is 100%. Obviously, Peter just makes sure he's strapped in and ready to go. Gives the thumbs up to Marston. There's a lot of gear they got to wear, hands devices. You know, it's plugging into their radio, plugging into their harnesses, all that stuff. It takes a little while.
It takes a while, yeah.
Easy hop out of the car, not as easy to get in the car.
Not as easy to get back in, no.
So Marston's going to send Peter Wiecek, which is going to be an official result for him going through to the final 4. And he's starting to climb back up that championship leaderboard. We said, don't count him out.
No, I mean, you can never count Peter Wiecek out on any day. Let me go, he's off the line. Let's see if he can make it happen. Then he certainly can. He's initiated through, and he comes down into the outside zone. Like you say, David, like we just said, he's going to put a run in. He's going to want to test the car and make sure it is 110% before he moves on to that final 4 battle. And now looking at the rest of the grid, the Shanahans and the Finnish drivers, and McKeever, they're all going to start to worry now, Dave, because Wiecek's clawing points. Every single run he does on this circuit, every single position he makes, he's getting more and more points in the bag. And that now starts to unnerve everyone, because in a few weeks' time, Dave, we head to his homeland. We head to the PGE Narodowy in Poland, where he will want to get the job done. He will want to seal the deal, take the championship in front of that home crowd, and he will be pushing that car to its limit. Decision's in, Dave.
Yeah, it's going to be an official decision. We all know which way it's going to go. It's Peter Wiecek. He's happy. He's into the top 4. And he's going to be very happy that he has clawed back some points. How many, we don't know. Heinonen, Rintanen, Conor Shanahan still in the competition.
I wonder if he'll get the calculator out now.
The calculator's still in the camper. We talked about this earlier on.
I think he'll go and get it out now. He's going to go and get it out. Maybe get the abacus out, start sliding the beads
left
to right.
We're going to bring the calculator out at the end of the competition to see where we sit before the final in Poland. Right now, the final seems a long way away for Conor Shanahan. Doors have been hit. Back ends have been replaced. Nakamura's got 1 headlight left on the car, and these two are going to go to battle. Conor Shanahan trying to chase down his first ever European title. He's got to go through the Japanese champion, Naoki Nakamura, who has chase driving as his special power. If he was a little Street Fighter character, he'd be like, chasing, that is my power. Conor Shanahan would be like, hopefully winning things and not breaking the car.
Feeling a little bit nervous.
Yeah, feeling a bit nervous right now. So Conor Shanahan in the lead position, Nakamura in the chase position, laser focus from both. And you can see Nakamura taking a big old run up here at Conor Shanahan to try and get on the door as quick as possible. Marston, our start line marshal, awaits. All the fans in the crowd are ready to see what happens next. It's a battle you never thought would happen, but it's happening right now.
It certainly is, and Shanahan fires that car down. Look at Nakamura, he's on the hunt for the side of that GT86, and he goes close up to the wall. Both guys absolutely door to door right now. Shanahan flicks the car across the circuit into the outside zone. Nakamura slow, shallow angle. Can he keep the pace with Shanahan? They've turned that car up to 100, Dave, to get away. And look at this from Shanahan. Starts to make a move, pulls more distance than before, and Nakamura dives across the circuit onto the door.
That is just unbelievable driving. To watch this in the flesh, amazing. Everybody here in attendance, all you guys at home, you're watching history being made. Naoki Nakamura against Conor Shanahan in a flooded quarry and a mine that's been turned into a drift track.
Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to make sense.
It never does here, does it?
There'll be 1 year where we'll be doing this on a warship in the middle of the sea, and these guys, if you get it wrong, you'll be in the ocean. It'll be game over.
Yeah, but the imagination it knows no bounds.
There's no bounds.
But I'll tell you what, watching this run, yes, Conor Shanahan's lead run, exceptional. But you've got to say Nakamura's proximity is also exceptional.
It certainly is. Look, it's phenomenal. It's incredible. It's breathtaking. That's what it is, Dave. But going back on previous experiences, the shallow angle is a big killer. And look at that line he takes into outside zone 4. It's very shallow. He does wind it on. He does rein him in. But then again, he makes a few mistakes here and there. I'm not saying that Shanahan's flawless in that lead position. He does an exceptional job at a lead run. But for me, Nakamura did make a few errors. Look at that aggression, though. Tags the door across the line.
Schmerers. He's on his door the whole way around the trackie. And what more do you want from him? He's rubbing doors. He's rubbing wheels. That's what it's about.
I don't think I want any more, because I quite like that S15. I don't really want him to break it too much. I mean, look at that. Both cars losing fenders.
Marston getting the tape. He's going to need the magic tape.
He's going to need
Conor
more magic
Shanahan's
tape.
car has been hit as well. There's not much left of Conor Shanahan's car at this stage, and the Shanahan team give a thumbs up, but it's a nervous thumbs up.
It is a very nervous
It's not a happy thumbs up. They know Conor Shanahan is now under pressure. You have to replicate that level of proximity right now, or you're going out of the competition. Your championship's on the line. And
well,
Shanahan
hold on a minute.
We have Nakamura speaking to his team.
So Nakamura, oh no, he is happy. And you know, sorry I cut across you there, Dave, but he's sitting down the back end, and when they're facing the wrong way and there's people in the car, you kind of get a little nervous that he might not make it back to the line.
I think he was just checking body work to make sure everything was okay. There was a little nudge after the finish line, or at the finish line. He's good to go. Both cars absolutely wrecked, doesn't matter.
They will be by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of tape, a lot of hopes and dreams, a lot of glue, a lot of cable ties. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
The mechanicals are working, the drivers are working. Naoki Nakamura comes all the way from Japan to try and beat the best in Europe, but he's got the best beside him right now. And Conor Shanahan wants to be the European champion. He's got to go through Nakamura to get there as they go through the gears. And into that first corner, Shanahan loses ground.
Yeah, he does lose ground, but now he starts to make it back. He makes a big dive. Look at that car popping and hopping across the tarmac. But Nakamura's flying. He wants to get away. And Shanahan said he was a worry. He said he was a different style. But look at Shanahan. Dives onto the door. Nakamura wandering and wavering in the outside zone. He jumps across the circuit. Shanahan goes for the door. He looks for the back bumper, but mistakes again from Nakamura as Shanahan gets on the back bumper.
That's a hard one to call. That's a very hard one to call. You've got to say Nakamura gets the jump. He gets ahead, but he wobbles and wavers from there. Shanahan not bringing much proximity except for outer zone 4, but then was that caused by Nakamura's lack of angle? We don't know.
I don't know. I know that Shanahan looked desperate, Dave. He was making these dives, and then Nakamura would pull away, and then Shanahan would make another big dive. That's not what we wanted to see. We want to see clean, close proximity, controlled driving. And I think that was desperate from both of these guys. We know that every driver is down the back of the paddock now, winding that suspension as soft as it will go, letting those tyres down as low as they can physically go. And look at Nakamura saying, the engine goes bang, bang. He said, I've got no more left in it.
I'll tell you what, the Conor Shanahan-Nakamura conversation there, neither are going to understand anything. But they've got the international code of put the two hands together and show you what happened. At the moment, Shanahan goes close, but look at the pace Nakamura pulls from there, but it's not a big angle. It's a strange battle because it's not clean.
It's not clean, but look, you've taken two different styles. We're taking a style from Japan that's completely different to the European style that we've all come accustomed to. This very fluid, very wild driving. You can see there Nakamura wavering in the outside zone. But from a technical point of view, Dave, I don't know if the judges would like it. I like it as a fan, but I'm not sure the judges are going to see that the same way that everyone else is.
Nakamura has a pretty heavy hit with outer zone 4 there and does waver a little bit as well. That lead run from Shanahan looking stronger than Nakamura is. Nakamura, to me, looking stronger in the chase in terms of proximity, but Kevin O'Connell will probably chime in and say, can have a good chase run without a good lead run, and did Conor Shanahan give Nakamura a better lead run than the other way around? That's the question. It's going to be interesting to see which way this one goes. It's for another spot in the final 4. We've got Piotr Wiecek sitting in there, ready to destroy anybody that comes near him.
Yeah.
But who's going to be the second driver to go through? How cool is it to see Nakamura and Conor Shanahan going head-to-head?
It's a fantasy battle.
In an abandoned mine in Germany.
It's a fantasy battle, Dave. It's a fantasy battle. It's something that you wish you could see. Look at this, and this is the judges now.
This is what the judges. So what we watch on the screens, guys, is not what the judges watch. They have all the camera angles, all the replays. They're watching everything.
And now they've gone back to the first half of the run between Shanahan and Nakamura, and they're trying to see all of the mistakes that are made from both sides of the field, from Shanahan's side and from Nakamura's side.
My honest gut feeling here is better lead from Shanahan, better chase from Nakamura.
Yeah.
Where are they going to weigh in?
When you said gut feeling, I thought you was going to say we'll get some food. That's what, when you said I've got a gut feeling, I was like, what are we eating, Dave?
No.
What are we going to eat? That's what I was thinking about.
I try to eat it right now to be all over the floor with the driving we're seeing tonight.
They'll be throwing chips and burgers all over the place.
No way I could hold my stomach together with this kind of driving. It's in my mouth. That's where my stomach's been for most of this top 8.
My heart has been in my mouth.
Here we go. Oh, Shanahan, it looks to me like Nakamura straightens up a little bit towards it. It's just that lead run for me from Nakamura. There's a lot of errors in there, a lot of mistakes, and Nakamura, he's analysing that, and he has no idea. Shanahan has no idea. It's a nervous moment for both of these guys. Which way is it going to go? And it's Conor Shanahan getting the win. Conor Shanahan goes through to the final 4, and you've got to say right now, he's probably the championship leader at the moment. Jumps way up the order. Nakamura out of competition. Going to go back to my good friend Kevin O'Connell. Kevin, I was weighing it in as better chase from Nakamura, better lead from Conor, but did Nakamura not give Conor that perfect lead?
you exactly said it there, Dave. What do we always say? You can't have a good chase without a good lead. Conor gave Nakamura every opportunity to chase there. He was on the qualifying line the whole way throughout. The only thing I have down in my notes here is that he was on the edge of outer zone 1, but from there he was really dialed into that qualifying line the whole way throughout. Really good lead line and gave Nakamura the opportunity to chase, hence why Nakamura had some great parts of chasing as well. But even then, he was still sacrificing his angle and line to maintain that proximity. And as you can see here then, when you switch him around, Nakamura making an absolute host of mistakes in his lead run. He was barely on the edge of outer zone 2 and 3. Shallow angle hits the concrete wall at outer zone 4 and again comes way offline then on the last corner as well. So Conor did quite well to even chase that because there was so much stopping and starting. So overall, as we keep saying, you can't have a good chase without a good lead. So therefore, we did give Conor the win overall.
They have it. Conor Shanahan moving through to the final 4. There's a couple of errors in the lead position from Nakamura, knocking him out at the grade 8. We now move back to the start line to a battle that hasn't been decided yet in the grade 8. It's Kvia versus Pesur. We're in the one more time.
Yeah, we certainly are under the one more time. And look, I say it again, the wildcard driver for this weekend, Arne Kvia, he used to be in this championship. He was almost dominating this championship at one point. We nicknamed him the Sledgehammer because he brings that thunder, that lightning every single round of the championship. He took a hiatus this year. Go back, he wanted to dominate his local championship. He won it, and he said, you know what, I'm going to go back to Drift Masters. I'm going to earn my way in as a wild card. I'm going to prove why I am the best of the best from Norway. But he sits on the line against a man from Estonia that's been on form all season. Kevin Pesur has been hunting a podium all year. Could this be the night for it? Under the lights here in Germany. Go! Both of these drivers wheel to wheel. Kvia goes to the wall. Kevin Pesur onto the door. Looks for the side of it now. Brave transition from Kevin Pesur. They're pushing harder than they did before. Now Pesur into the fold, into the crease he goes. Looks for that transition back and times it perfectly as Kvia puts a back end to the wall. Pesur jumps on the door. Across the line, Kevin Pesur dominating.
It's getting heated now. It's getting heated on track. Pesur, some of the moves were depth-defying, and that's what I love about it. It's all about pushing. You can't just go out there and do a good run anymore. You've got to be exceptional. You've got to take a risk. You've got to take a gamble. I think Pesur does that. He goes out there and gambles. He weighs in on how good he thinks Kvia is. And Kvia was good in that lead run.
Yeah, Kvia was outstanding. That's what Kvia was. He was absolutely phenomenal. And Kvia did exactly what the judges asked for. He gave Kevin Pesur a perfect lead run. But Pesur opened that door and took a step in. He said, if you're going to give me the opportunity, I'm going to take it. Look at the transitions, Dave. They make no sense. Kevin Pesur was on an absolute flyer.
That's phenomenal chase driving. He comes through the smoke. He goes up onto the door. That is, look at that surge up onto the door of Kvia. That's a moment for me. It's going to stick in your mind. It's going to stick in the mind of the judges. And then another depth-defying transition from Pesur.
They're perfect. They're absolutely perfect. He's doing what Randalu tried to do. He's trying to get those transitions done that are bumper to bumper, but not making that contact. And I think Kevin Pesur has got them absolutely dialed this weekend.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
You're going to go on a limb?
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that's the best chase run we've seen today.
You've said that twice already, Dave.
It can be better each time, Ian.
Okay, all right.
Obviously, it's getting better each time.
You kept telling me we was going to see a 100-point qualifying run the other day, and it didn't happen, and I was disappointed.
And now we're seeing perfection.
And now I'm seeing really good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so don't be too disappointed by it. It's
well, no, you know, I'm just saying.
So I think Kevin Pesur has done the best chase run of the day.
I think
those two transitions, Randalu tried them, failed, took the back end off Więcek's car.
Yeah.
And right now, he pulled it off. He made it happen. So from my perspective right now, it's got to be Kevin Pesur, for me, with the advantage. Surely, has to be.
I don't even want to know. I'm not even going to chime in with a response to that, Dave, because I don't want to be wrong again, basically. I don't want to be wrong again. And I'm always wrong. That's what it seems like, anyway. Where we go, they're on the line.
Second half of the battle, it is going to be Kevin Pesur in the lead. It is going to be Kvia in the chase. Kvia fires in now up onto the door. He's got to be confident here. Kvia goes up onto the door. Pesur, though, on that perfect lead run, as Kvia has to make the dive. He's not made it as close as Pesur. He's got to make the move now. Pesur absolutely smashing the rear end of that BMW off the wall, and Pesur is up and gone. Kvia doesn't have an answer as they come through the last corner. Kevin Pesur from Estonia has done it, in my opinion.
Wow. Wow, what a lead line from Kevin Pesur. That was absolutely phenomenal.
That's the gut feeling. That's the gut feeling. I'm not a judge, but to me, Kvia, if you look at it side by side, Kvia did not have the proximity. He didn't make the moves. And both of their lead runs were phenomenal.
I mean, yeah, they were absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to see a replay of that. I kind of want to live that one back because it was absolutely outstanding.
But you know what? Either way, whether they win, lose, or it's another one more time.
They're heroes. They are heroes.
This is as good as it gets.
That's a final, and I've said that multiple times this evening already. That was a final battle.
What I love about it is they're leaving nothing back.
There's no 10% out there. The whole thing is door to door. Watch this from initiation to the final line. Kevin Pesur was on an absolute fly. Look at him down. He runs the wall on outside zone 1, and then he absolutely sticks it to these outside zones. Kvia, for me, he had the proximity, Dave, in some of these outside zones, but on the transitions, watch this, Pesur starts to pull away, and that is where Pesur, for me, really shone in this battle. It dives away. Kvia says, whoa, he has to shallow up the angle, he has to shortcut the circuit. You can't really see it there. He kind of doesn't go into that outside zone. Look at the angle he's at. He's really sacrificing line to gain proximity. Decision's in.
Well, decision will drop in, and it's for a space in the final 4, and it's Kevin Pesur getting the win and going through to the final 4 to face Piotr Wiecek. And wow, is that going to be a battle to look forward to in our semi-finals. Kevin, it's been tough. It's been incredible. I've just been blown away by Kevin Pesur in both the lead and the chase there.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic driving there by Kevin, really on that qualifying line the whole way throughout, and really good on that chase run. For me, what it really all comes down to is that error by Tor on his chase run, and the second run, just as he's transitioning on the final transition between outer zone 4 and outer zone 5, he just hesitates a little bit, maybe get separation there that we were not able, that was enough for us to differentiate between these two runs. So we really are splitting hairs here because this is fantastic driving.
Well, they have a Kvia knocked out in the top 8. It is going to be Kevin Pesur going through to our final 4. Pesur, Więcek, that's one semi-final. Conor Shanahan's in the semi-final. And if you're a Finnish fan, this is the moment you've all been dreading. Divided between two heroes of your country, Lauri Heinonen and Juha Rintanen, sitting 3rd and 4th in the championship. If there's to be a Finnish driver winning this year, they've got to go through each other. And it's going to be tough for Rintanen because Heinen's on a flyer this weekend. Lauri will be the lead driver, 1,045 horsepower, ready to leave the line. Look at the laser focus from Lauri Heinonen. He knows how much this means. Rintanen has that GR86 dialed up to 11. It's one of the fastest cars on the grid. He won't be afraid of being lost here, but it's going to be knife edge, and they know how tough this is going to be. This is heavyweight versus heavyweight championship on the line. Marcin gives the word. The lights are going orange, red, green, and here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Through the gears they go. And Lauri Heinonen already starting to fly away. Rips down, bangs the back bumper off the wall. And Juha Rintanen looks to the side of that yellow and purple 180 SX, but he's shallow and he nearly makes a mistake. Checks himself up on the inside as Lauri Heinonen gets into the wall on outside zone 4. Absolutely door-to-door business as they absolutely fight this one out tooth and nail all the way around. Rintanen gets onto the door once again across the line.
Wow, and Rintanen almost out of the fight, and then next thing he comes back in, boom, onto the door he goes of Lauri Heinonen. Heinonen missing that last outer zone as well. Just looked like the car gripped up on him towards the end. There's some errors in there, but for 95% of that, it's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal, Dave. It's absolutely outstanding. It's breathtaking once again. But look at this for me, really. Big mistake from Juha Rintanen. That chase position comes down, has a little bit of separation on initiation, gets the job done. Nice dive on outside zone 2. Gets the car picked up well, but Lauri Heinenen's already on a flyer. He's on left foot brake, dials a back end into that qualifying line. He knows he needs to give Rintanen a perfect lead, but look at that check up there from Juha Rintanen. Gets himself caught up on the inside. Judges won't like that one too much, but then Rintanen, see, shallows up the angle once again, dives up onto the door. For me, Lauri Heinonen would be riding in the front of that car saying, you know what, this is like a hero battle. I've watched Juha Rintanen for many, many years represent Finland all around the world, and now here I am battling him for a spot in the final 4 in a championship we're both fighting for.
And I think one thing I've got to say about Rintanen's driving style, especially on that run, is, you know, when you come off the back of those wild dives from being calculated. Now that could work in his favor, and it has. He's 3rd in the championship. But up against Heinonen on his day, Heinonen now can be the aggressor. He can go closer. He can take a bigger risk here, and if he pulls it off, he'll win this battle. But easier said than done.
It certainly is easier said than done. And now separation on initiation once again as Lauri Heinonen gives Rintanen the room to manoeuvre. Rintanen goes wide, looks for the wall. Lauri Heinonen gives him the room. No dangerous transitions now. Heinonen starts to reel him in. He knows he needs to get the job done here on the second half of the circuit. Heinonen doesn't want to get left in a cloud of smoke, and he goes wide once again. Rintanen wheels over the white line, and Lauri Heinonen on the door across the line. I don't know, Dave. That is too close for me.
I'm make a big statement here. I think Rintanen's car is such a smoke machine. He's running out of tyre when he gets towards the end of the run. He's washing very wildly out of zone 4 or 5 every time. It's almost like he can't get the car to get that forward momentum going. And whatever's happening with that tyre on the back of the car, it's allowing him to make mistakes at the end of the run. For me, Lauri Heinonen not making those errors in the lead position, and I think it was pretty tit for tat up until Rintanen overwashes at outer zone 5. He puts a wheel off the track. Heinonen has to back off. It's the biggest error of the 2 runs. I wonder will the judges take that one into account heavily when they weigh in on this decision.
Well, they're going to be splitting hairs. We know that for a fact, Dave. They'll be looking at every single inch, and I can have a look across and see that they are going through every single angle of every single replay to see where that went wrong. There was a beautiful initiation from Rintanen, gets the job done there, and really, for me, Heinonen lacks that proximity. He's kind of left asking, can you be in this fight? Rintanen is absolutely ripping, but
now,
like you say...
just going to bring in a little rule for you here.
A rule?
That I just remembered.
Oh, okay.
They talked to me earlier about 2 wheels off the track is a 0.
Is a 0, yep.
I'm wondering, does Rintanen put 2 wheels off here after out of zone? Does he put 2 wheels over that white line? That's going to happen just after here. Is he 2 wheels off the track here? He is.
Oh, he is.
I think he's 2 wheels off the track there.
I think that's
and 2 wheels off the track means that one's in the books, because if he's 2 wheels off, that is essentially a non-scoring run, meaning it doesn't really matter about all the other technicality. That, to me, is the moment that Juha Rintanen may be regretting as he heads to the final opponent.
This is going to be as clear as day.
Watch the rear wheels on Juha Rintanen's car. Does he put 2 wheels over? There goes 1. There goes 2. It looks like 2 to me.
Yeah, well, I agree, Dave, for once.
And you know what? Putting 2 wheels off over on this track is pretty sketchy.
It's sketchy.
Pretty sketchy. You got to find a crazy place to do it.
There's a concrete corner.
Yeah, I think Rintanen's shaking his head here. Might know which way this one's going. And it's going to be Lauri Heinonen from Finland getting the win over his fellow countryman Juha Rintanen. And Lauri Heinonen sets up the biggest championship fight of them all against Conor Shanahan in the top 4, who I would imagine right now are 1 and 2 in the championship. I'm not going to say that out loud because I don't have any idea.
You just said it out loud.
I've just said it out loud. I've done no math whatsoever. But we have Becky Evans down with Juha Rintanen, and that was a hell of a fight, Becky.
Yes, absolutely, Dave. It was a hell of a fight. But Juha, I was watching you watch the live stream there. As soon as you saw those 2 wheels over, did you know it was over?
Yeah, I definitely thought that the 1 wheel was over. I'm not sure if it was 2, but went a bit too hard and can't do anything else against him. So it was a good battle.
You're happy to see your fellow Finn out there.
Yeah, of course. I hope he takes the win.
Thank you so much, Juha. See you next round.
Thanks, Becky. He's all smiles, but he's going to be disappointed, Ian. He's been knocked out. I mean, he was going in higher in points than Heinonen. I think that might switch around as things go on.
Hey, don't count him out of the fight, because he still might be top 3 in the championship by the end of the evening. We'll only know that at the very end of tonight when the championship standings, the new championship standings, get brought up on the screen. But you're going to have to hold on for now, because here is your final 4, Dave.
Oh,
Więcek versus Pesur, Heinonen versus Shanahan.
And you know what? One of those drivers are not going to get a trophy, and they all deserve it. That's the difference.
We can give them something. You've got some stuff.
I might give them I'll probably give them a bottle of water, because it's been really warm the whole way through here. But I will say it has been an exceptional top 16, an even better top 8. What does the top 4 have to give us?
Well, it gives us more fireworks, more fire on the circuit, more thrills, more spills, more accidents. It's going to be absolutely electric. And as you can see, our marshals down there just giving the track a little freshen up before we head into that final 4. And it's stacked. Więcek fighting for a championship. Kevin Pesur, we've said it before, he hasn't had that glimmer of hope yet. He's been fighting all season for a chance at a podium, and he hasn't had that chance. Could tonight be the night where we see Kevin Pesur make a move and finally get a step on the podium and announce himself in European drifting? Dave's jumped out for a moment, and I am joined by a special guest. Jacob, welcome to the Drift Masters European Championship. Welcome to the hot seat. How does it feel? You've come all the way from America this weekend. You were working.
Yeah.
It wasn't a holiday. It was a working holiday.
No, they put me to work.
They put you to work. How does it feel? How are you enjoying the Drift Masters European Championship?
It's been incredible. I honestly tried to make sure I was as up to speed as possible all my way here. So I binge watched everything, make sure I had all the notes. But it's incredible. I love all the similarities. I love all the differences. The chassis. There's so many cool chassis here. As somebody who loves obscure drift cars, I'm happy to see like the Black Smoke Diesel guys, the Volvos out there. It gets me so pumped.
Yeah, look, we've got a whole variation, and I guess you see the difference in builds as well coming across the pond. You get to see the way that the Europeans are building these cars and the way they're setting them up and the grip levels. And we spoke to Odi Bakchis earlier on outside, and he said that these guys are running tyres that nobody else is running. He said the tyres are stickier than the tyre left on the circuit.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I've noticed, and it's been just such a huge shocker, is in the American side, it's a lot of mechanical grip, whereas here it's a lot of tire grip. So it changes up how you set up the car, how you drive the car, what you're able to do with it, how the car maneuvers. So for me, seeing the way that these cars float around the track and change direction is so different than what you see in America. So it's great. I mean, any exposure to drifting outside of what I see every day, I'm here for it.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much for joining us, Jacob. It's an absolute honour to have you here. If you don't follow his podcast, give him a listen, because it's absolutely intriguing the way he gets inside the minds. But it's time for the talk is almost over. It's time to head to our final four. Well, there we go. The grandstands are still packed. The light is completely gone. The only light we get is from those cranes, those huge pieces of mechanical engineering that have dominated this part of the world for many years, and now they're the backdrop to an incredible end of round 5 as we see two heavy hitters in the tyre warming area getting ready to go head-to-head. Is Piotr Wiecek, the current and defending champion, ready to take on a man that has been chipping away at this championship all year. Kevin Pesur from Estonia finally sees the light at the end of the tunnel. He sees a chance at getting on the podium, and tonight could be the night. Dave, this one is going to be hectic.
On the form Kevin Pesur is in right now, he is not fearing Więcek one bit. I'll tell you what, Pesur has watched Więcek all day. He knows that first corner, that launch from the light, is going to be the toughest part of the run for him. He knows he's got the transitions down. He is easily the best chase driver here tonight, but can he get with Więcek? Can he stay with him through outer zone 1 and 2? He's going to have to jump it here. He's going to have to be on the door. He's going to have to be on the rear quarter. He cannot afford to let Więcek put the hammer down here from the off.
No, he can't. And he's not going to let Więcek get away. We know that Kevin Pesur has turned up to 11 right now. We know that he is turned up to 11 right now. And he knows the style of Więcek. Everybody, every drifter around the world watches Więcek. They watch his every move. They know his game. The lights go green, Dave. It's time for action.
Here we go. Top 4 is away. And look at Pesur. He's right there with Więcek on the way in. Więcek, big angle in. Nice from Więcek. Pesur, though, pushing him around that first corner. Now the fight's on as Pesur fires the transition in. That is what we came here to see. Pesur is possessed right now. He's getting a little caught on the inside and he gets himself a little bit out of shape, but what a phenomenal chase run as Więcek fills every outer zone. This is the final 4 we wanted to see.
How did they not have a massive accident? That transition was disgusting.
That was a 40-second accident right there that didn't involve any contact because it was wild. It was crazy. It's why we watch this championship. It's why we admire these drivers so much, because they do things that don't even make sense.
And look at Kevin Pesur trying to wind up Więcek on the way back to the line. This was insane. Więcek and Pesur both initiated miles before anyone else. They were sideways the whole way down there as they fired into that immovable concrete wall. Więcek was on the foot brake. Pesur matches the angle perfectly, but the transition, it was absolutely beautiful from Kevin Pesur. Więcek could have took a look over and touched the side of that car, but look at the transition. Boom!
That's one of the best transitions I've ever seen in drifting in my lifetime.
But I'm going to say there was a mistake from Więcek in the lead. Watch how late he gets into outside zone 4, Dave. It wasn't clean. He took a strange arc into it. Look, it was fast. It was wild.
Yeah, but look how perfect he is on the walls everywhere else.
We're splitting hairs. If we're splitting hairs.
His initial initiation was probably one of the best I've ever seen. He ran the spoiler over the wall on the initiation. Więcek comes, he gets out of his own four, and Pesur gets pinned on the inside. I said it in the commentary earlier on. He got a little caught there. He had to make a maneuver, but he got away with it. Więcek is on that outside line. So the lead run from Więcek, bar, I mean, the most minute of details. He's 95 plus, Ian, in that lead position, but Pesur's transition is beyond something that a human should be capable of.
Well, he pulled it off, Dave. He pulled it off, and it was absolutely phenomenal. There was two little mistakes there. It looked like Więcek did all as well, almost completely miss that final outside zone. It looked like he dropped a wheel in there, but it was on a very shallow angle. Pesur filled it more than him. Judges will be looking at every point. I'm just trying to put every factor of that run in the air and let you decide at home or here in attendance what you think about it, because I know kind of where I sit with it, Dave.
I'll tell you where I sit with it. Right in the front row, like everybody else should be, waiting to see the magic happen as Piotr Wiecek gets put under pressure. But he's been under pressure. He's been under pressure his whole career, and he's taken that pressure and he's won trophies. He's won championships, and he's proved that he's one of the best in the world. But he's coming up against a man tonight that may not be shaken. He may not be stirred. He's got to go for it here. Wiecek, the team have been on the radio saying, take the radios off, throw the radios down. This is man versus man on the walls here in Ferropolis.
It certainly is, and look at this. Więcek's going for it straight away. Door to door, already down, straightens the initiation. Więcek tucks up on the door. Already he's into the crease, but look at the line from Kevin Pesur as he's absolutely nailing that qualifying line. But look at Więcek. This doesn't even make sense how close he is right now. They transition back once again. It's dangerous from Więcek. They go wide onto those outside line, but look at Więcek. He's wheel to wheel across the line.
Unbelievable. From Więcek and Pesur, turn off your TVs, put down your phones, turn off drifting. It's over. You've seen it all. That was phenomenal. Więcek went closer, did more, went riskier, but Pesur's lead run was phenomenal. I don't know how to separate that. I don't even care about separating it. There is no losers there. That is a highlight reel battle we will watch for years to come. Amazing stuff from two of the best in the business.
Unbelievable, Dave. Absolutely unbelievable. And they'll know that inside the car. And you know what? Whatever one of those guys doesn't make it through to the final, they will go home at the end of this weekend a worthy contender in this championship.
That is just
was
incredible.
Insane.
How Więcek, he must have hit him 4 or 5 times on that run. Watch this again. On initiation, Więcek goes for it. He dives, look at this, onto the door so early. Pesur's on the perfect lead line. Look how wide he is. But this for me, look at Więcek, surge forward. Oh, it's beautiful as he stays out of the wall as they transition back. Is this transition as crazy as Pesur's? No, but it's more calculated. It gets him closer on the door and allows him to get right back in his business. Look at this, inches, millimeters, touching tire off the door as they come through. Pesur's perfect, Więcek's perfect. Więcek makes a bigger dive here, stays up onto the door, and there's got to be a touch here. Yeah, look at that contact, pushing Pesur across the finish line. Unbelievable stuff.
That's phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal stuff from Więcek. It was dangerous. He was closer than anyone else has been around that circuit, and he pushed so hard, Dave.
This is going to be one of the biggest decisions of the year, and it's an amazing one. They've both done it all, but Piotr Wiecek's going to the final. He can barely believe it, and Więcek, the championship was all but gone. For 3-4 rounds, there's no Więcek. All of a sudden, here he is. When it matters, when he needed to, he pulled it out of the bag. Kevin, to me, that was one of the best battles we've watched in the history of Drift Masters.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic there, Dave, and that's exactly the kind of driving that we want to see. Both drivers absolutely nailing that lead line with very few mistakes, so for us it all came down to that chase run, and Peter definitely had better proximity the whole way throughout, although Kevin did put up a very valiant effort overall, but that proximity by Peter was just phenomenal.
Well, we're moving on. I'm not going to get a breath. You're not going to get a breath, because if you've paid for your seat, you got a bad deal, because you're only going to use the edge of it for this one, because Lauri Heinonen and Conor Shanahan are going head to head. Another dream battle here, and all of the championship points are on the line. Heinonen sat in third coming into this event. Shanahan sat in second. Well, they're sitting side by side now here in Ferropolis. Another heavyweight battle that may decide the whole fate of the championship in the next 40 to 50 seconds. Shanahan shakes his head, gets himself in the game. Heinenen's laser focus. This is what it's all about. Heinenen's been fast, he's been fluid, he's been on the wall. Shanahan has started to pick up the groove as it's going along. He's dispatched Nakamura. Can he dispatch Heinonen? Oh, take a moment, folks. Take a breath, because you're going to need to hold it for the next couple of minutes as these two head off the line.
Here we go, through the gears they go. Shanahan won't want to let Lauri Heinonen get away, and he doesn't right now as Heinonen fires down to outside zone. Conor Shanahan onto the wheel, onto the front wheel, onto the door. He's all over the side of that yellow and purple S13. They transition across the circuit. Heinonen is an absolutely pinpoint perfect. And look at Shanahan, though. Not an inch between them as they come across the circuit into outside zone 5. Shanahan wants this more than ever. He wants to be the leader of the championship, and Heinonen absolutely nails it.
Outrageous driving right now in Drift Masters as they are fighting tooth and nail. And every fan from every 23 countries that make up our audience are looking at this saying it doesn't matter where they're from or what they're driving. This is drifting at its peak, at its pinnacle. We are watching the best in the world clash at the best point of their career. Heinonen goes to the wall, Shanahan goes to the wall. There was nothing between them.
There was nothing between them, Dave. Look at this from Shanahan, absolutely calculated. On the handbrake, down a gear he goes, he's on the door. Look at Lauri Heinonen, you can see him working away from the onboard inside Conor's car. Shanahan, for me, they're a little shallow into the outside zone, but he picks it back up again so well. And the big transition from Heinonen doesn't even upset Shanahan. It opens the door and he gets into there, almost wheel-to-wheel contact across the line. There was nothing splitting them.
No, this is going to come down to the second run, and it's going to come down to who's pushing too far. We're at that thin edge now. We're at the edge of the cliff. Someone's fallen over it. That's what's going to happen, because you can't keep this up. You can't drive at these extremities and not expect a mistake at some point. Will it come from Shanahan? Will it come from Heinonen? It didn't come on the first run. They're both even Stevens, and Marson is going to run into that bush in a minute going, I don't even want any part of this. They are going to war here on track as Shanahan now leads in Heinonen.
Yeah, look at this. Heinonen doesn't want to let him get away. He tags him on initiation. And when he messes himself up massively, Heinonen throws himself out of competition. And Conor Shanahan looks across and says, well, you know what? That's how it happens.
I told you, this is what's going to happen, Ian. I'm not saying I wanted to say I told you so, but they went too far. They went too far. Someone was going to push too far, and it looked to me like Heinonen tried to get too greedy on the run-in. He made the hit, he caused some damage. I'm not sure why he shut down, but something went very wrong, and Shanahan will have a look in the mirror and say, he's not here, he's not there, where is he?
Well, there we go. Look, Heinonen makes his way back, and I think he's done some damage to the front of that car, Dave, and I think Lauri Heinonen may have just really hurt his championship hopes there.
I think he took too much out of it. Look, he went too aggressive, and he made contact on before even they get to the first zone.
Yeah, it was brave. Look at this. What?
I think Lauri tried to be superhuman there. It didn't work. It might have worked. It's worked in the past for some drivers, but he's hit the lead car offline through the first zone, and Lauri shuts down, and I think something's happened to Lauri's car. I think something's bent or something's broken on the front steering that he couldn't continue. You can see Jack Shanahan watching on in the back. You see this, we're going to try and decipher this sign language for a moment, but the decision is going to be in to face Piotr Wiecek in the final. It's going to be Conor Shanahan getting the win, and after a crash at the end of qualifying, here he is back in the final, and maybe that's what champions are made of, Ian. Maybe that's what it's all about. You've got to, when it's tough, when it's horrible, when you're not driving well, you still got to scrape out the results. And right now, Shanahan is doing that.
He certainly is, Dave. He's scraping out the results, and you know what? He's pushing beyond his, capabilities. Conor's with Becky, Dave. We're going to fire down. How does it feel for Conor right now, Becky?
Conor, you knew you had to push, and boy, did you push there. That must feel amazing from where you are.
Yeah, for sure. Incredible, to be honest. I knew Lauri was going to be hard to beat, and yeah, I was quite happy with the chase run. The entry was quite good. I was surprised that he came off a little bit of power on the first transition, and I kind of messed up a little bit into outer zone 4. But other than that, I knew I had to blow the doors off him, and he just told me that on the run-up when he was changing gears, he hit his hand, and his hand went dead on the initiation, and he couldn't grab the handbrake. So it's a pity that something like that happens, but this man has been on a mission all year. He's been probably the hardest person for us to beat day in, day out. So I knew I had to push, and damn, I'm buzzing. Another final, and yeah, we're, I think, possibly going to lead the championship going to Poland, and it's another track what suits me. I love these tracks. I love getting right up onto the door. And yeah, as I said before, everybody in the Haven, I hope you're cheering on, and let's give it everything in the final. We have Peter. Awesome. Let's go.
I was about to say, get yourself ready for the big, big final. Yourself and Piotr Wiecek. He's fast out there. Have you got the pace?
let's see. It's been a while, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully taking him down.
Good luck in your final, Conor. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. If Conor Shanahan takes down Piotr Wiecek in the final, what a statement, taking down the previous champion as you now lead the championship into the final. Just saying, that's a bit of a statement leaving Germany. Conor Shanahan, though, probably would have not believed this at the top 32. He struggled. He had it one more time in the top 32 against outsider Alexander Kosov. But things are, you know, it's one of those things in drifting. You got to stay in the fight to win the fight, and that's what he's done. And we wait for Lauri, Heinonen and Kevin Pesur, and that is going to be another crazy battle for the third step on the podium.
It certainly is. Look, neither of those guys are going to want to bow down and take that one easy. And just goes to show you that it wasn't even the car that let him down. It was a little tag onto the door. It banged his arm, and it gave him a dead arm, so he couldn't even pull the handbrake.
You know, it's funny, I was just thinking about that. As Conor Shanahan said it, his foot slipped off the clutch in qualifying and he crashed. I mean, this is human beings here. We're not watching, you know, virtual
robots,
cars. Or these are real people that make real errors. And Lauri Heinonen gives himself a dead hand coming into the first corner and then can't pull the handbrake. It's knife edge at this stage, and Lauri Heinonen knocks himself out of competition. I can't believe it. We've watched it all tonight, and we're not even finished. We got 2 battles left to go. Pesur against Heinonen, then we got Shanahan versus Więcek. The two men that have, I think, in my opinion, battled consistently through this grid. It's a worthy final, and it's going to be crazy.
It certainly is going to be crazy. It's going to be a worthy final, and it's going to be good to see Więcek versus Shanahan, like you say, Dave. You know, the man that's hunting this championship down this year. He's potentially going to be leading it when we leave here tonight to go to Poland. And Więcek, the current and defending 2-time champion, if Conor can beat him, that's a huge statement going into the final round.
I mean, that's the stage set. You know, you're going to Poland, you're going to Piotr Wiecek's backyard. We're going to the biggest drift event in the history of drifting. Let me just reiterate that. 53,000 tickets sold. Not one seat in the biggest stadium in Poland is free. Not one seat is available. 53,000 people are coming from all across the globe to watch the finale of this drift event. If you told me 10, 15 years ago, this is the situation we'd be in, no one would have believed you.
Well, I'm just going to let you into a little secret, Dave, because I've had some people message me in the last half hour, some ex-Formula WRC champions, and they said, this is unbelievable. Is there any chance I could be a VIP at the final? That is how much attention this championship is gathering as the years roll in, as the championship grows. We are attracting attention from all over the world. These people are looking, saying, what these lads are doing in these cars at these locations with these crowds is phenomenal.
And it's growing and growing and growing, and how could you not be swept up in the enthusiasm of watching these guys go door to door all across Europe? The championship has grown leaps and bounds, but to head to a stadium, 53,000, you put the crews in there, you're at nearly 60,000 people sitting down to watch these guys battle it out for the championship. And to me, it looks like it's going to be Conor Shanahan heading in there with all the targets on his back at this stage, regardless of how the final goes.
But look, take a little trip back to 2022, Dave. I keep talking about it. We was at the final. Conor Shanahan was in reaching distance of it, and everything went wrong at that last hurdle. And now, think about this. If Lauri Heinonen beats Kevin Pesur and gets on the podium and takes third step, he will be points away from Conor Shanahan, potentially in second place. Doesn't mean it's a done deal yet, Dave.
No,
we're going to go to Poland.
That's the thing. It's going to come down to Więcek and Pesur here, who play a little bit of a part. You know, Więcek's jumping up the order here one way or the other in the championship. But Lauri and Shanahan, right? These are the two we're looking at, Conor Shanahan and Lauri. If Shanahan loses the final and Lauri wins the third and fourth, there's just going to be singular points between Ireland and Finland going into Poland in the final. Just saying, if you've booked your tickets already and you're from either of those countries, it is going to be a fight.
Yeah, you might want to bring a few flags, you know, a few towels to mop the brow, because it's going to be a lot of sweat in that place. Because
I'm going to be honest with you, if you were to give me to put my house on it, whether it be Lauri Heinonen or Conor Shanahan, I'd probably just rent my house and not get involved. I'd just say, I'm not even getting involved. There's no way, because Lauri Heinonen and Conor Shanahan like those tracks, those small technical tracks. They've been exceptional on them before. They're going in with confidence and on form. I'm just going to say, we didn't really see Lauri Heinonen and Conor Shanahan there. Just saying, it kind of was over before it begun in the second run. So we didn't see a head-to-head battle between Heinonen and Shanahan to let us know who's got that better style going into the final. It's all kind of been left. They're having a blast out here.
I mean, we're having a blast in here, Dave.
I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of men out there that should have the shirts on that don't, but they're having a good time.
They're having a good time, and we don't look. Hey, it's hot out there, Dave.
It's pretty hot out there.
If you're feeling hot, take the shirt off, relax, drink a cold beverage, enjoy yourself right now.
And the thing, the fans here in Germany have been absolutely amazing. We've been having a blast with them all weekend. Great to see so many nationalities come to Germany to check out the action. And this venue, just every time we come here, it delivers every time.
It certainly does. Look, every single stop this year on the calendar, Dave, has been absolutely outstanding. Unfortunately, I couldn't make Riga, but I watched the live stream at home. I watched on. I wanted to see what these guys did. Every place we've visited has been packed out to the rafters. You couldn't get another person in there. These guys have been supporting this championship, and you know what? We go to events now and we see the crowds rolling in, and we get a buzz.
Well, I'll tell you,
we get a buzz now.
They're the MVP.
They are.
All of these beautiful people filling the stands, and with all you beautiful people at home watching this sport, watching it in its infancy to a certain extent. This sport has only been alive for 15, 20 years, as opposed to most motorsports, 50, 60, 70 years. This is leaps and bounds every year, and this championship this year, to me, has been the most competitive, the most exciting, and also the most incredible. But now we have 2 more battles to go to finalize who is 1, 2, and 3 on the podium. It's time to go to the finals. The stage is set here in Germany for the last 2 battles of the evening. Lauri Heinonen from Finland, Kevin Pesur from Estonia line up. Only one of these men will stand 3rd step on the podium. The other will go home without a trophy after an incredible performance. It's harsh, but that's the nature of the game, as Heinonen, as the higher qualifier, will lead in Kevin Pesur. The Estonian has shown us some of the most incredible chase driving we've ever seen in Ferropolis, but he's got to do it all over again. Heinonen, big error against Conor Shanahan, knocks himself out of competition. He's got to rectify that here, Ian.
He won't make that same mistake again, Dave. He'll know what he did last time, and he'll know what he needs to do this time. And he knows that Pesur will want that 3rd step on the podium, but Heinonen needs it more than anyone right now. They're through the gears down. Big initiation from both guys. Pesur looks for the side. And Heinenen's S13 as they fire through the first 3 outside zones. Contact onto the front wheel as they now transition into that long outer zone. And you can see Pesur still hunting down the side of Lauri Heinenen's S13. He goes to the wall. He gets there clinically. But Pesur is with him. He's on the side. He's on the door. He's all over him.
Well, what more do you want? Contact, door-on-door action, wall runs, bumper flexing, flames erupting from around the arena, and fireworks on track as Lauri Heinonen and Kevin Pesur put in 1/2 of their 3rd and 4th place playoff battle. To me, Heinonen doing a good job in the lead. Pesur, did he take too much out of it at the end of the first corner? I thought it was all over for him, but he got back in it quickly. Let's look at it again as Heinonen runs up along the wall. Beautiful. Kevin Pesur does this surge better than anybody. Gets back in the game, allows the left foot brake from Lauri Heinonen to get him in. But what happens here as they come through? Does Pesur make contact? He does wheel-to-wheel contact. And let's be honest, both of them stay in it. Both of them just kind of keep going. Usually that's the end of a run. It kind of became the start as they both went back into it again.
You're going to see it really good from the drone here, Dave. Oh, it was 4 wheels colliding there.
And Pesur goes right back to business. He doesn't even let it phase him. And Lauri Heinonen says, what was that? Didn't even feel that. Let's go.
Trading paint, trading rubber, trading everything right now on the circuit just for a spot on the podium. These guys want this more than ever. Pesur wants the podium. He's wanted one every single round, every single step he's took.
As close as he's going to get here, because with only 2 rounds to go, he's trying to make it happen tonight here in Germany. And Lauri Heinonen needs the championship points. He needs to catch back up to Conor Shanahan. Well, here we go. You can see every car absolutely in ribbons, rubber, fiberglass, everything broken. But there'll be a heart broken at the end of this one if someone doesn't get that 3rd step on the podium. Heinenen's in the chase. Pesur is in the lead. It's Estonia versus Finland. And Pesur is ready to party. Heinenen's coming for it. The wing flies off Pesur's car.
Yeah, look at this. Pesur absolutely hunting down the outside line. He goes for the wall. But Lauri Heinenen's with him. He won't make that mistake that he made before. Now he dives across the track into that long outside zone. They go wheel to wheel. Heinonen tucks up right up onto the front wheel with Kevin Pesur's BMW as they transition down into the last outside zones. A little separation. Heinonen squeezes the throttle and applies the pressure.
Oh, that's very good from Lauri Heinonen. Very, very good. Like, he stayed with him the whole track. And as far as I can tell, again, beautiful runs from lead and chase, but did Heinonen just have that little bit more precision, a bit more clinical precision. He was closer for a majority of the run. He didn't make contact. Pesur did on his chase run. Is that going to be the difference maker?
Look, it was calculated for me. Lauri Heinonen was very calculated. He didn't do too much. He maybe thought that he had it with that contact, and he didn't want to push too hard. Look at this, though, as he goes onto the rear wheel, down on initiation, no messing around. As Kevin Pesur takes it to the wall, Lauri Heinonen on it, absolutely flying. He just gives him that room to manoeuvre. He doesn't want to put anything in the judge's mouth that may think that he could be out of this competition. And look at this from Heinonen. Now he seals the deal. He jumps right up onto the door. He goes into the pocket, flicks the back end towards the back end of that BMW, and now he really reins him in. This is incredible stuff. Look at that. Touches the wheel, touches the wing. Lauri Heinonen not going down without a fight, Dave. This is textbook stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you,
the Finnish driver.
Judges having a good look at this one, a good discussion on it to see who is going to take that third step on the podium.
The drone clipped Lauri Heinenen's car and kept going as well. Clipped the flag on the back of Lauri Heinenen's car and kept going. Well, precision from the drone drivers.
The drone pilot's going, oh, you want proximity? I'll give you proximity.
I thought he was going to land in the boot of Lauri's car.
We've seen it all tonight, but we haven't seen just yet the decision for a third step on the podium. Pesur and Heinonen, they got to be buzzing after that one. That was wild. You can hear the woos.
Just heard the woos, yeah.
Someone's getting third place, but I'll tell you one thing. From where I'm sitting, there is no losers here. Highlight reels are going to be played for days and days of these rounds.
The drone guy bringing back the flag. He says, I took your flag with you.
He took the flag with the drone off the back of the car.
And he went to return it, and Lauri said, you know what, keep that as a memento. That's a memento.
You can keep that one. Oh, I don't even know.
Look at this, look, watch the drone. Picks up the flag. He says, you're coming home with me. Ready, zoom.
The drone takes the flag. If you even tried to do that, watch this from the outside. If you tried to do this with a drone, it wouldn't even make sense. Look, takes the flag off the back of the car.
Wow.
Wow.
Our drone pilots are getting too confident.
They are getting overconfident.
We're going to have drone twin battles at some point. Decisions in, Dave.
It's for third step on the podium. Kevin Pesur gets the win on his first ever Drift Masters podium. He can't believe it. That has to be one of the most incredible battles we've seen for third step on the podium. Pesur's done it.
Yeah, he's finally done it, Dave. He's finally done it. He's worked so hard. And look at the Finnish fans, head in hands. They can't believe it. The Finnish fans are absolutely gutted. But the Estonian ones, Dave, well, their flag is now flying. And the ones that bought the tickets, they're saying, well, Poland's going to be fun because Kevin Pesur, look, he was still in the top 10 of the championship, so he may have climbed up to
I'm telling you right now, I don't know what way it's going to go, but Lauri Heinonen beaten well.
Beaten well as well.
By both Kevin Pesur and the drone. Both of them were able to touch him throughout the course, and that's not good.
No, exactly that. Well, Dave, that just leaves one more battle to go. And I've waited for this for a long time.
Absolutely. Well, it's time for our main event. 56 drivers now become 2, but who's going to be number 1? Let's head to the final. Well, here we go. They're on the line. Shanahan and Więcek, and whoever wins will be the first person to win 2 events this year. It hasn't happened before. It's about to happen now. Więcek chasing back to the top of the tree. He's the reigning champion. Shanahan, the current championship leader, wants to be the current champion. But if you want to see 2 guys go head-to-head for all the marbles to prove a point of who is the best driver in Europe today, right now, this is the battle to decide it. Shanahan is the newcomer. Więcek's the old wall that's there that they all have to punch through to get that big trophy. But he's got to do it right now. He's got to do it, Shanahan, from the off. He's got to be on the door. We watched some of the best battles we've ever seen tonight. This has to be the best one. They've got to be at their absolute A-game. Więcek in the lead, Shanahan in the chase. They are go.
Yeah, the light goes green. They come through the gears. Vincek's going to want this one more than ever. He fires down onto initiation, but look at Shanahan. He's right with him. He's closer than anyone's been on the outside zone. He's door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel with Więcek as he flicks the car across the circuit. Więcek tries to upset Shanahan, but it didn't pay off, and now Shanahan wants to repay the favour. He dives across, almost makes contact. He's on the wheel, he's on the door, he pushes the champion champion across the line.
Absolutely insane from Conor Shanahan. He found something there. He went deep and he found more than he's had in any other battle tonight. They have dialed that car up to incredible levels. Hearing from the marshals, they are both running 8 PSI on 140 treadwear, 285 rear semi-slicks. They are putting so much grip in these cars that it doesn't even make them easy to drive. They're hard to drive, but they're making it look like it's working. Shanahan with a phenomenal chase run. Best of the year for me from him.
Yeah, unbelievable. This was absolutely unbelievable. Look at the initiation, both guys deep into the outside zone, and then from there on out, Shanahan just gets the confidence, dials it onto the door, and he is within touching distance of that S15 the whole way around that circuit. There was no mistakes from either of those guys. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Watch the transitions. They don't even make sense. Shanahan's first is risky, but his second, I think, is even more risky. They go for it. He knows he's got to do something special. He's only got one chance in the chase, and he knows Więcek's going to bring the fight. Watch how close he goes here on the transition. Shanahan in the chase position almost takes the back end off Więcek's car. You can't get any closer without making contact. Shanahan says, your move, Peter. You're the current champion. I want to be champion, and that's the difference. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm speechless.
Because Peter Wiecek has had a bad year. He's had a bad year by his account. Mechanical failures. He's had no luck. But tonight, he is not letting this young upstart take him down. He's going for it here from the off. Last run of the night. Wiecek fires in. That's closer than anybody's been here on the track. Wiecek's hungry. A little wobble from Wiecek as he now gets back up onto the door of Conor Shanahan as they come through. Wiecek now starts to turn the screw. Big dive up onto the door. Shanahan goes to the wall. Shanahan is almost touching every moment on this track. Wiecek backs off a little bit as he comes back into that last corner. This is what makes Drift Masters the most special place on earth to watch these be the best.
That's how you do it. That is how you do it.
They're superhuman. There's something wrong with these people because they are risking. They make it look like this isn't as dangerous as it is, as difficult as it is. These are the most difficult drift cars to drive in the world. So much grip. They're set up like drag cars. They don't even want to drift. And these guys are able to drive around that. They're able to sit on their cars and say, I am going up against the best drivers, all collectively together at one time on Earth. And they're able to do things like that.
Watch
phenomenal.
This. Watch Więcek down here. Look, he is closer than anyone has been all night on that initiation. But it wasn't clean from Więcek. There were a few mistakes. Look at this. He touches the door. He backs out of it, takes another little dive at it. He allows Shanahan, though, to get on that perfect lead line. And I think that lead line from Shanahan was cleaner than Więcek. He goes into the outside zone. Look at Więcek, though. He shallows up the angle. There's a few mistakes. There's a few wobbles. There's a few contacts made. Look at this from Więcek. He almost very much hits Shanahan in outside zone 4 and he has to dial it off and back in it again. It's so close, Dave.
It's unbelievable, but what I'm saying here is, you think about the story that's being written here, is that in order for Shanahan to genuinely think he is the best in Europe, to be the champion in Poland, he had to go through Więcek. He had to beat him at some point this year. Has he done enough? I have no idea. Both of those runs were absolutely exceptional. And I've got to say, one of my favorite moments from this event is watching Peter Wiecek do what we wanted him to do all year. Be that damn good. And that's what he did.
He did. He did it, Dave. And he did it unbelievably. They pushed so hard. And like you say, Shanahan had to prove that if he was going to be a worthy champion, he had to beat the current champion. I don't know if these two don't even know what happened.
Well, it's got to be a decision made from the judges. It's the winner of the penultimate round of Drift Masters in Germany. And there's no winner. It's a one more time. And why are they celebrating? These people are insane. There's something wrong with these drivers. Shut this event down. They should be annoyed. They got to do all that again. They're cheering and jumping. Not even disappointed they didn't win. They just want to go do it again. And I don't know if I've got the fortitude right now to get through another Więcek and Shanahan battle. But I'm going to go over to Kevin O'Connell, who is responsible solely right now for me losing my mind and my voice. Kevin, we're going back at it again.
First of all, sorry about your mind and your voice there, Dave, but that was an absolutely incredible battle. Both drivers really nailing that qualifying line. Okay, a couple of mistakes here and there. Conor was a little bit off outer zone 1. Peter was a little bit off zone 2 and 3, but overall, both fantastic lead lines that gave every opportunity for the chase car there. You could see then the chase runs
almost a mirror image of each other. To be honest, Peter had probably enough to take the win overall in his chase run until he made that mistake at coming up towards outer zone 5 on that final transition that you see at the end of this zone here, where he just hesitates at that little bit and ends up having to cut here, misses that zone, loses proximity for a second, and has to get back up on the door. If it wasn't for that minute mistake, I think Peter would have done enough, but that brings the advantage back a little bit, and it's way too tight to call. We have to see it go one more time.
Well, I hope Kevin
O'Connell
is going to pay. Yeah, Kevin O'Connell is going to get a cardiology bill from me tomorrow. That I got to go through all of that again. This is the best I've ever seen drifting. I'm just going to put it out there. You know, I'm just going to say.
I was just in my mind.
Have we ever remember a time where there's been this many battles from the top 32, knife edge, exciting, but so close?
I was trying to remember, Dave, when there was the last time when we had a one more time in the final, when the final was that close. And I can't remember when there was another one more time in the final.
I'm going to bring up a point here.
Good one.
So many sports in the world, right?
Yep.
Even when they dramatize them or they try and make movies out of them or whatever, they've got to exaggerate these moments, or they've got to wait for them to happen. They all want these dream scenarios in sport. A moment that captures your emotion, that it's perfect, and you build them up and you build them up. 99% of the time they don't happen, and if they do, you got to exaggerate it. We're getting moments like that every 5 minutes in this championship, that it's almost numbing to the point that you're so emotionally invested that it starts to go, oh, this is totally normal to be in a flooded quarry, which is an abandoned mine with megatrons around it in the middle of Germany with the craziest drivers smashing walls at 70 miles an hour. And you know what? Doing it run after run from all over Europe, and the fans just eating it all up from all over the world. And we're thinking, this is normal. This is not normal, people. These people are not normal. They are the best in the business, and they're also taking it to another level that I've never witnessed Conor Shanahan or Peter Wiecek drive that hard ever before.
No, nor have I, Dave. I can't remember the last time that I see two guys, or in fact 32 guys, battle that hard for a podium. Every single driver from top 32 all the way through to the final has pushed so hard this weekend. I don't know what happened when they crossed the border here into Germany or come down the road from their hometown in Germany, but something has happened this weekend where these guys said, I'm not messing around anymore. I'm going to come this weekend, I'm going to bring the fire. We're going to see that in Poland too, because as soon as they cross the entrance to that circuit and they look around them and there's 53,000 people watching them, Dave, they're going to turn it on to 11.
Well, I'm going to tell you another thing. Drift events have existed for many years, but the scale that this championship is growing at means that the bigger it gets, the more people know what it is, the more people support it, the fan base gets bigger, we selling out stadiums, it means more to the drivers. It means more, which means they will push more, car and body on the line to get that win. It's not about, wouldn't it be nice if I got a podium? Wouldn't it be nice if I won the trophy? Now it means absolutely everything. And as Shanahan and Wiecek head back out to that start line, I can guarantee you it means more than any final they've ever been in before.
Well, there we go. You can see Conor Shanahan making his way back around. Tyres changed. He's had a quick cold drink because he needed one. That temperatures here in Germany still 20-odd degrees. It's still swelteringly hot, as you can see the fans all around the place still shedding clothes because it's heating up on the circuit. It's heating up all around. Shanahan makes his way back to the start line. What is the game plan? What is the game plan for Shanahan right now, Dave? What is he thinking as he goes back to the line?
Look, I said it in the... I'm not saying I'm some sort of fortune teller or mind reader or I've time traveled. But I watched that battle between Lauri and Conor, and I said, to go further than where they are right now, it's a crash, it's an impact, it's a mistake. You watch two runs between Shanahan and between Wiecek that I think are just knife edge enough that you get away with it. Now you go one step further than that, you're in the wall, you're in the door, or you're spinning. And that's where we could be headed here. Where we go from here, it's going to be exciting either way. But I will say, there's not much more you can do than Wiecek's initiation in the chase position. There's not much more you can do on the walls than Shanahan did in the lead position. Where do we go from here? We go for a scary, dangerous thrill ride. And there's no more times anymore. It's decided in the next two runs.
I just don't know where they go. They've felt each other out. They know how fast each car is. Have they done any more to it? Have they put any more grip in the car? Have they turned the cars up anymore? Have they worked out a game plan? Have they worked out a way to win? That's what I want to know.
So. I'm going to be honest.
Or are they just going to go out there as humans and say, we're going to do the same thing again?
I think they're going to set them up the same. They're going to go out there and do... I think it's just going to be turn the radios off, unplug the spotters. It doesn't matter anymore. You're not going to win this with a strategy. You're not going to win this I mean, any strategy here.
I mean, we say that and then we go to a...
I think they're just checking them. I think they're just checking
They're letting them down.
But what I'm saying,
I
don't think a strategy wins at this point. I think just driver ability wins. Because both drivers can get around the track. Both drivers know the pace now. And if they're going to go lower, I think if Peter goes lower on pressure or Conor goes lower on tire pressure, it starts making it almost impossible. This guy took a wheel home with him. Taking a wheel home.
Took a wheel, look at this.
There he is. He's ready to he was ready to put a wheel on Shannon's car if there is, well, there's no more one more time. So he is definitely taking that wheel home. But right now, Conor Shanahan, right here, right now, is this the moment for him? Is this the time that he wants to go out there and prove he can beat Peter Wiecek? And who has?
I mean, look, talking of moments, like, he just took Peter Wiecek to a one more time. There's not many people in their careers, I could probably count them on my hand, Dave, that have took Peter Wiecek to a one more time.
Absolutely. We know that Wiecek is everything we say he is. Two-time champ, most successful, one of the most successful European drifters of all time. But Conor Shanahan wants to be that. He doesn't admire Peter Wiecek as much as he's friends behind the scenes. He wants to be where Peter Wiecek was. He doesn't care. He's not looking, oh, I'm up against the series champ, I'm up against this, I'm up against that. When he was asked by Becky, you've got Peter Wiecek, he said, awesome. Because Shanahan knows this is where you prove yourself. So you won the championship. Who'd you beat? That's what people ask. Yep. And if you said, I beat everybody, and everybody included Peter Wiecek, that is a statement going into Poland. Now, Wiecek is sitting there going, well, you've counted me out long enough this year, and I'm back and I mean business. And if I can win this and take down the current points leader, well, we're still where we were. And if my car worked all the way through this championship, we might be in a different position. A lot of little games being played here behind the scenes, writing those stories for all of you listening at home. And that's how much it means to these two drivers as they line up for the final battle of the night. Under the lights here in Ferropolis, it is Peter Wiecek, the current and reigning two-time champion, to take on Conor Champion, the would-be champion. Doesn't get any bigger, doesn't get any wilder, and doesn't get any more serious in world drifting than this.
Well, they're on the line, ready to rock and roll. Look at this, a focus. Shanahan puts his fist up to the camera, wipes the sweat from his brow and says, I'm ready to do business. This is it. This is the chance. This is the opportunity for him to prove who he is. The light goes green at the bottom of the start line, and we are good to go. It's Wiecek to lead out. Conor Shanahan for the final step on the podium away. So Shanahan fires down onto the door, and he's closer than he was before. And he's deeper than he is before. And look at this, the bumper is already off. And Wiecek's car is dispatched by Shanahan as he goes closer onto the wall than he was before. Foot brake on foot brake, they're dialing in. They're absolutely glued to each other. Right now, as Shanahan pushes Wiecek across the line.
Incredible. This is what it's all about. I'm going to have to look at the replay. I thought there was contact between the two cars on outer zone 1, but the fact that Wiecek rubbed the bumper off and then Shanahan just smashed it off on the transition, how they are still going this close without making a mistake is just insane. It's superhuman.
It's because they're the best, Dave. They are the best in Europe.
Well, keep going. That's what I'm thinking right now. Here we are. Conor Shanahan fires in. Does he hit Wiecek here? This is the moment. Fires in very close. Yeah, I think he touches the door.
He does. There's no tire mark. Watch this. There's no tire mark.
Look under the symbol on the door. Yeah. And Wiecek says, come at me. No problem. Let's keep going.
Oh, it barely affects Wiecek. Wiecek is in the car.
Watch this transition. Look, the bumper. Boom. Absolutely. Shanahan picks up another bumper on his way through and dispatches it as he goes close again. This is incredible.
It's unbelievable, Dave.
Like, let's be honest here. We're going into the second. I'm just saying, let's be honest. We're going into the second half of this battle, even Stevens.
You think they're going in even?
I think so. There's contact, but usually contact spells disaster. It doesn't affect Wiecek that badly. And Wiecek just takes the hit and says, I don't even care. Stays on it, runs the walls, perfect lead run. Shanahan as good as he can do. Now, this is the moment where Więcek has to go to a very strange place, a place he's not comfortable with, a place which is beyond his control. If he wants to beat Shanahan here, he has to risk absolutely everything. This is the only way he's top step tonight, and here we go.
He's off the line, he's through the gears, and look at the concentration on Więcek's face as he initiates the same time as Shanahan. Flames erupt from the back of the car as he knows he's at 15 onto the door of that GT86. Shanahan goes to the wall. Więcek's closer than he was before. He now makes a big dive in outside zone 4. He's wheel to wheel. This is closer than they've ever been as they fire through that transition. Shanahan on a flyer, but Więcek not going anywhere. And now the separation opens up as Shanahan takes it across the line.
Unreal. I can't believe we're still watching these two. I'm just going to put the argument out there. You can continue it on the internet. Best in the world right now, Conor Shanahan and Piotr Wiecek. Just put it out there. You watched it. 4 runs of perfection, of door rubbing, of smashing, of not spinning out, of hitting walls, precision. That is what it's all about. There's marks from Shanahan's car on Więcek. There's marks from Więcek on Shanahan. That's what this sport is all about. They have just jumped out of those cars, buzzing after stealing the show. And you know what? It never really comes in the final like that. You always expect the final to blow up, but it doesn't. Tonight it did. We got our moment. And look at this from Więcek from the off. He's closer than anybody's ever been on that initiation. And he makes it work.
He makes it work, Dave. He makes it work so well. Look at the dive. He just keeps edging that car in more and more and more until he gets so close that he's uncomfortable with how close he is. And Shanahan is absolutely pinpoint perfect. There's no way that he couldn't give Więcek a good chase because he has opened the door. Więcek is there. Look at that on outside zone 4. That is so close.
I have no idea which way this one's going. Absolutely no idea. And if you're at home giving me an opinion, you're a liar. You have no idea either because that is so close. There's only 3 men that are going to decide who wins this one, and they are having a serious debate to my right now because that is some of the best driving I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're still discussing it now. They're looking at the replays that they've got. They're having a chat between them. I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
Look at these scenes. Look at the proximity. The flames erupting from the walls. Shanahan, he's got about 4 centimeters of an overhang and he's still bashing it off the wall on every single corner.
His lead was absolutely phenomenal, Dave. He nailed that qualifying line. And that gave Więcek the opportunity to get close. And Więcek said, I was close.
When a decision has to be made, it is for the winner of round 5 of the Drift Masters European Championship. The man that's won 2 of them sits on your left. And the man that wants to win his first is on your right. They're still debating this. The judges are still having a look at this. I'm sure you guys are debating this at home as well because it is very hard to tell who's taking the win here.
And they're going through every single camera angle, Dave.
They're going to need camera angles.
This means.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Like, Conor is so close on that chase run. It's unbelievable. And look at that transition, taking the bumper off Więcek's car. Oh, I don't know. You look at it one way and you think Więcek, you look at it the other way and you think it's Shanahan. There is no, I mean, I've watched this sport for over 10 years and I would never in my lifetime have imagined a more difficult decision in the final than this.
I'm just trying to break it down. I'm just trying to watch this, break it down and try and see what maybe the judges are seeing and where they're pointing out certain parts of the circuit. And you can see, look, this is what they're doing. They're rewinding, they're slowing down, they're looking at every single angle, every single point.
The only thing I'm looking at there is Shanahan looks like he's wider into outer zone 1, but Peter's closer. But is he closer because he's wider? I don't know.
But now they're looking, I think they're maybe looking at the front wheels on Peter's car.
Yeah, a little bit of straightening, not major.
But when you're splitting hairs for the final battle, it 100%. Has to be perfect.
There is no way there's an obvious winner to this battle. It's going to be down to technicality. It's going to be down to the smallest of margins.
And look at the Shanahan crew. You can see McKeever, Jack Shanahan down there waiting to see the decision. They're watching the big screens.
And they're having their own debates.
And everyone, look, even the Polish fans, they've got their hands in their head. They don't know.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows what way this is going to go.
Oh, and they don't know.
And they have no idea.
Peter Wiecek and Conor Shanahan certainly don't know, but one of them has got to take the win here.
They're probably thinking, let's just go do it again.
No,
We'll just
see,
go
we can't do it again.
No, the rules.
The rules are there's only one more time allowed, meaning the judges are in a really tough spot now to separate these two guys. But they've had a blast either way. And to be honest, for Więcek to be first or second is a return to form for him. For Shanahan, first or second, let's be honest, he's picking the championship points up either way. First would give him a good head start into Poland. Więcek would have climbed way up the order in the championship points as well. And of course, we get to see that at the end as well, because that's madness, because everyone's all kind of close again.
I mean, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the championship standings after this event, once this decision's finalised. I can't wait to see who is leading the championship, how the points are laid out, how the order has changed, because it's been an upset today.
No, can't predict anything. They sit us here and they say, oh, put Ian and Dave in. They'll be experts. Experts at what? This? There is no experts to this.
No. Well, I mean, hopefully there's 3 of them sitting next to us, and we know they are the best of the best judges.
But again, they're judging by their criteria. But for us watching it like you guys are, we're just so entertained, so hyped, but we have no idea which way it's going to go. But it looks to me like I think judging decisions are dropping in. They've had as many looks at this as they're going to have. They've watched every camera angle. They've done as much as they can. Somebody is going to win. Somebody is going to lose and take second place. And it looks like the decisions are in. Will Więcek take it? Will Shanahan take it? Here we go. First place goes to Peter Więcek. Gets the win. He's back. He's in business. And he's coming for everyone in Poland at the final round of the year. Więcek still in the championship hunt. But Conor Shanahan will still be all smiles. It was a shaky start for him, but he gets second on the podium. Ian, what a night for drifting.
What a night for drifting. What an incredible event. What a location. What a setting. And what that way that top 32 played out. That was absolutely unbelievable. And you can see what it meant for Więcek there as he jumped on the roof of the car to celebrate. He said, I am so happy. I needed that. He needed that reassurance that he's still got what it takes to be a champion. And now these two guys, well, they're going to go and celebrate, Dave. They're going to fire these cars around the circuit. They're going to do some donuts together. And we're looking at 2 of the best of the best.
This is undeniable. You talk about talent, you have your arguments over who the best in the world are. Many of them are here. And tonight, on this night, you're looking at the 2 best that I've ever seen go head-to-head in the final and deliver that final that we all wanted here in Ferropolis. Best 2 runs I've ever seen on this circuit. And wow, these guys absolutely stole the show. Więcek's car is just spitting flames. Shannon's car is spitting body panels. There's very little left of them, but you know what? They won't need many because they're going to go to Poland and take every single one of them off again in a couple of weeks' time as we fill the PGA Narodowe with over 50,000 people. Yes, that is the sentence to finish off this championship. And Więcek, well, the Polish fans will be hoping he comes in absolute form. Ian, I'm going to head to the podium. It's been a phenomenal night for drifting. And Peter is with Becky right now. Becky, the man is back. He's back in business. He's won it again.
Peter, it's always one step at a time at drift events, and you knew you had a lot of steps to climb, and here you are on the top spot. Can you tell me what that was like for you in the car? Because I have never seen a battle so close in Drift Masters.
I don't know, I have to watch the replay. Even I was watching it here, but I still don't remember it fully. It was amazing, such a pleasure to drive here, and especially after such a traumatic beginning of the season. Not maybe the first round, but the rest was a small disaster, and now we are back on a top spot of the podium. This is amazing. And in here, where last year we have a really bad failure. So guys, we're gonna celebrate tonight. Thank you very much for you cheering up me and Conor and everybody here. So yeah, what a night. Thank you guys. Woo, mamy to, nasi mamy to!
Peter, heading into the final now at that massive stadium, over 53,000 tickets sold. Where is your mind ahead of that? Are you going to take it home in front of the Warsaw crowd?
I have to tell you, once I've been there on this stadium when it was packed and we were doing small show, it's so overwhelming. I cannot wait simply to experience it again now properly, only for drifting, only for drifters and for us stupid drivers behind stupid cars. But I love this sport, I love this moment, and thank you for everybody, to everybody involved, organized, to my sponsors, to my team and crew and everybody, simply thanks to whom we can be here and yeah, taking the first step of the podium. Yeah.
Congratulations, Peter, you are the winner of round 5. 5 here at Drift Masters. Well done.
Well, there we go. Peter Wiecek wins round 5 of the 2023 Drift Masters European Championship. And here we go, the final results of the day. Wiecek in first place, Shanahan in second. Kevin Pesur, the Estonian, finally does it. He gets on a Drift Masters podium. Heinonen in fourth, and we break it all the way down, and we can see how it played out, where you can see those championship contenders fall in today's results. Itay, Sadeh, the standout moment for the Israeli driver, making a move, making his name in this championship after so many rounds of clawing away at it. And as you can see, some wild cards thrown in there into the mix as well. And Tobias Pushkin rounds out today's final results in 32nd place after a hectic qualifying session yesterday. But all we need to see is how that championship is looking after today. Where do those contenders sit? Where has Wiecek managed to climb up to? Where does Conor Shanahan now sit? Well, here we go. He leads it. Conor Shanahan leads the 2023 Drift Masters European Championship with Heinonen in second place and Jack Shanahan in third. Rintanen holds on to fourth place at the moment, and Wiecek moves up one step into fifth. He is close. Is he close enough to do it when we go to Poland in a few weeks' time? What an incredible event, what an incredible round, and we are just weeks away from the biggest and best event that the Drift Masters European Championship will ever see. Well, we talk about Poland. Let's take a look at how it played out before and give you a teaser of what we've got looking forward to when we go to Poland in a few weeks' time. An incredible one-off built track on a stadium just for a few days with packed out grandstands, and there it is, the 15th and 16th of September. This crazy circus that travels around Europe will finally go to Poland for the final round, where, like Dave says, 53,000 people will fill every single one of those seats. And if you've got your ticket and your flight booked, well, we'll see you there for the Drift Masters European Championship round 6. I'll be there, well, and everyone else will be there. Well, there we go, as the grandstands empty and everyone heads to Poland. From me and everyone here behind the scenes at the Drift Masters European Championship, it's goodbye. We'll see you in Poland.